All those years I was trying to find a little bit of peace, and who would have known? It was right here, just down the road. Do I miss Sunnyvale? Yeah, not in your life, bud. Not Ricky and all that fuckery. Often I think of him, but hey, I have a new life now. Randy and I, well, we're taking a little bit of break for a while, and Julian, no more of that fucking confusion. You know, you're wondering whether I'm still the liquor. No. Guess what? I'm on top of the liquor. I am the monkey in charge of bananas. What's my secret? This little device right here. I just take a little blow. Time for a little top-up. Because when I first got this, I used to ride it around 0.20, which is fucking wasted, 24/7. But now, I leave it at 0.12, which is perfect. It's right in the fucking slot, just past the click. That wonderful moment, just like Julian. I'm sober enough to know what I'm doing, and I'm drunk enough to really enjoy doing it. Oh, look at that. Time for a little drinky poo. Cheers, genitals.
Superbly, he just got out of jail, and she dropped this off to me. She says she wants the park back, and there's a court date in 10 days. She's fine.
Yeah, like, we're fucked.
That gutter slut. All right, we might not be fucked. Now, I might be able to do something here, but I need to stall that annoying quiff.
So there's hope, then?
There's always hope. If you've got the money to pay for hope. Now, I'm gonna need a retainer. Now, let's say, I don't know, $1,000 to start. And I want to keep this clean, all right? Full disclosure, that milk-drinking curd-bag tried to hire me already. But I need to fight fire with money. Now, that's just how it works, all right?
All right. Okay. Give us a day. We'll have your $1,000. Let's go, boys.
Great. Talk to you later, boys.
Thanks, man.
All right.
We gotta swing by the horror wash on the way back, boys, and pick up Lucy's car.
Come on, boys, it's only like $1,000. We barely have to break the fucking law to come up with that.
Break the fucking law? What are we gonna do that, man? Just take it out of your fucking bar.
Everybody has a fucking bar tab, no two dicks.
Dicks?
Why am I a fucking dick now?
Bubs, you must have something saved up.
Junior, I got $9 on me and about 13 in the bank. That's it.
Okay, that's a start. What about you, Rick? You're always as busy as fuck. You only take cash. What are you doing with all your money?
We got a bit of money saved up. It's for fucking Trinity's wedding, man. I can't spend it on this shit. Fucking Lucy beat the tits right off me.
Okay, it's final then. We're doing fucking jobs.
No, we're not. No fucking jobs. No way.
Oh, I'm definitely not doing fucking jobs. He's not fucking doing them.
And jobs.
Oh, fuck off.
Oh, you fuck off.
For fuck's sakes.
Idiot. It's under there, under that fucking bag.
Ricky, look out! Look out!
Christ.
Oh, fuck off. I dropped my fucking joint. Don't look at me like that, you fucking bitch. Jesus Christ.
Ricky.
Well, fuck, she started it. It wasn't my fucking fault.
Just here, let me out here. I gotta get some cat food. I'll meet you guys back at the park.
You think about what I said, because you and your cats are gonna be fucking homeless, Bubs.
This is so fucked.
You're right, it is so. I'll get Randy collecting lot fees. Hopefully we'll be able to come up with most of the money that way. But if not, man, you gotta help me out with the rest of it. I'm not doing this by myself.
I heard you were back. How was Mexico?
Yo, it was more like Sexico, dog. Non-stop for a month. We was hitting it and quitting it, hitting it and quitting it. It was all that.
Hey, Randeco, pardon my manners. I would like for you to meet the love of my life. This is Marsha. Fall in love with him. So beautiful. I like it, so I had to put a ring on him. Do you know what I'm saying to your face?
Why are you talking so weird,
Why
General?
are you talking so weird, Randy?
I'm not talking weird.
Open the gate so I can see my son.
What are you saying?
Open the gate.
The gate.
Open the gate,
Okay.
motherfucker.
Thanks for the burrito.
Small brain, big stomach.
Yo, dudes, what's up? Man, how was Mexico there, man? Ridiculous.
Man, nachos are the same everywhere, Corey. What's wrong with you?
What up,
What's up, Dad? Pour some sugar on me with your candy. How's Cancun, dog?
Good, but I missed him off. I'll tell you that right quick.
Would you bring me back, B?
I brought you back something very special. The gift of a happy life.
Who's this Mexico?
This Marsha, your new motors. Together we'll be a happy family again.
Should we dance, Megan? Hold up. I already have a mom. Just don't take a truck, remember?
It's okay, take your time, okay? We'll be here.
We all gonna be waiting a while because you're all crazy.
He will grow on your face. boys. Let's go inside.
Ah! Peanut butter balls! Hurry up, you popsicle-eating hippopotamus! Fuck, you're dumbly stupid!
Hey, guys. Jesus Christ, Randy. When's the last time you took a shower? You smell like a dead sea otter's ball sack.
Sorry, Ricky. Sorry I don't have freaking hard.
Fucking idiot.
It's obvious that people don't have a clue how much I freaking work every day with no breaks.
Randy, I want you to go around and collect lot fees, okay? There's people that are months behind and we need cash fast. Then we'll sit down and have a little talk about your feelings, okay?
I need some backup, Julian. Ricky keeps taking Jacob to work at the drugstore, and you keep taking Corey to work at the night care center. I'm here alone, working the gate and collecting lot fees, and I don't even have time to friggin' whippersnip, for freak's sake.
Little fucking stick crafts over there.
Those stick crafts are the only friggin' thing that's keeping me sane, Ricky.
Are you gonna collect the fucking lot fees or am I gonna fire you?
You know what, Julian? Frig it. I tried to collect lot fees. I tried, and people just don't pay. I even tried with force, Julian, and they just tell me to F off, and then they move out of the park. The park is half friggin' empty, for freak's sakes. You know what? Frig it, Julian, I quit.
Whoa, boy, you got a bad fucking bearing on that wheel. That thing could flip. You could get hurt.
Thanks for the tip, nerd.
What? You call me?
A nerd. Are you gonna fucking do something about it?
Leave him alone, man. He's retarded.
Who's retarded?
Made you flinch?
Did not.
All right, let's get out of here. Don't want to make the nerd cry.
Fucking retard.
What are you talking about? You're not gonna quit. You're
Yes,
not
I
a
am.
for me.
I want some respect, Julian.
All right, you got it. You know what? You can even tell the people you're collecting money from that you're doing this as a personal favor to me. How's that, bud?
Yeah, well, I want a commission off the lot fees I collect, too.
Commission?
How about I give you a fucking commission off the tip of my cock, 8 or 9%? How about that?
Frig off, Ricky.
Randy, I know you didn't shove me again.
Ricky, don't make me take my pants off.
Fuck is all
I'll take
over
them
you.
off. I don't.
No,
Frig
you're
off.
not. Enough, boys. Listen. Okay, how about I take 5% off the top and then give you 2 points of that, all right? And I really appreciate the hard work you're doing for me, Randy. All right?
Okay, Julian. Deal. Let's hug on it.
What?
Fuck.
Some people shake hands. I prefer hugs. Come on, Julian. You get them all the time. I don't.
Put that up there. Jesus Christ.
All right, okay. All right, that's good. That's it. That's good. All right, open the fucking gate.
Oh my fuck. You got popsicle all over Lucy's car.
Ricky, I'm opening the friggin' gate.
Oh, you want me to wipe it up?
Yeah.
I'll fucking wipe it up. You're not gonna be happy about it, bud.
Just get in the fucking car, Ricky.
Ricky, what the frig you
There you
doing?
go, bud. This is your fucking towel back.
Ricky, get in the car.
Boys! Ricky, get the fuck over here!
Frig off, Ricky.
What is wrong with your fucking
Right
brain?
now, we're fucking fighting real
Get in the
soon.
fucking
You
car.
be ready anytime.
Ricky.
Man-o, fucking man-o.
Keep him under control.
I will. Thanks, Randy.
Keep your fucking self under control, you slimy fuck.
Picked up a part-time job, delivering flyers. Keeps me in gin and groceries. It's very easy and surprisingly satisfying. Barb!
Jim! It's
the
been
heck?
a while. Give us a hug.
Whoa, look at you.
Goodness.
Hi, Don. How you doing? Wow, who's this?
This is Candy. She's sticky sweet and twice the lover that you ever were.
Yeah, I see. Nice to meet you, Candy.
Fucking right it is.
Yeah. Barb, glad you got a new friend. I'm really happy. I better move along. I gotta be delivering my flyers, Barb. And good luck, ladies. What's going on?
Well, you see, Jim, my lawyer says I can get the park back.
Well, that's great, Barb.
I know.
Well, good luck on that. Yeah, Candy, please.
But the thing is, Jim, that I need your help. And
I can't get involved. I'm sorry.
Go get Jacob and collect some lot fees.
Yeah, right. What's in it for us?
Popsicles.
Oh, last time you said I was getting a popsicle, you gave me half, dude. No way.
I'll give you one full one each this time.
Can it be rainbow?
I don't have rainbow.
Can I have orange? All right, that's cool. I'll take orange, man. Orange is all right.
J-Rock!
There's no one home but us cucarachas.
Come on, J-Rock, give me some lapis.
It's pronounced J-Rock, Randy's. Randy, I do not have your lapis.
Come on, it's a personal favor for Julian.
I do not have your plot, fleece.
J-Rock, frig off, come on.
Fuck off.
I'm on bottom.
Hey, Julian, can I talk to you for a minute in private, please?
I'm sorry, Bubs, but he's with us right now, okay?
What's wrong? Please. All right, you guys in there.
Really?
Just start with oatmeal. Just be a minute. All right? What's going on, bud?
I gotta ask you a question, and I need you to be fucking straight up with me.
All right. What?
I don't want any bullshit.
Okay.
And I don't want you candy coating it.
I won't candy coat anything.
Am I a nerd?
No, definitely.
Well, these fucking little punks were calling me names and called me a nerd and bullying me, and I started thinking, fuck, maybe I am a nerd and I don't even know it.
Bubs, fuck those guys. You're one of the coolest people I know, man. You kidding me? Fuck, you can fix things, you can play the guitar. My girls are always talking about how fucking cool you are.
Really?
Yes.
Julian, time's up. We're naked.
You just watch the place for 10, 20 minutes for me? 15? Half hour?
Sure, Julian, if you get tired and you need me to tap in, just give me the nod. I can get her going like a sewing machine.
Oh, you want to have an orgy with me and my girls now?
I'm just saying, if you need me in there, I can get her going about 60 miles an hour, and I'm not a nerd. I'm not afraid of orgies.
Oh, we're fuck twins. And what mystery are you two friggity fuckers trying to solve today?
Well, I guess that would be the case of the missing lot fees.
Yeah, nice. You also $120, dude.
Oh, don't have it. How about a couple of hand jobs?
Wow, we appreciate the offer, Marguerite, but Randy made it pretty clear we're supposed to collect actual money from people.
Listen, boys, I've learned at my age that there's not much in this world that you can't suck or jerk your way out of. So what will it be? Mouth hugs. Come on. Let's get it on.
Yeah, we need to talk for a second. Stay right there. Don't move and shit. Dude, I'm down. If you're down, I'll do it for the park and shit, you know.
I'm getting married, man, but if you're down, you should go for it, dude.
It's not I'm down. It's just like taking one for the team, dude. I'm going,
Yeah,
man. Okay, wait out here. Back in a second. Okay, I'm good. Let's do it.
Oh, fuck! Dude, you fucking tried to shave me with nail clippers! Fuck, man. Fuck!
Get the fuck off my property, you scurvy little piss arses!
Ricky, there's easier ways to do this.
Fuck. Well, if you got some fucking ideas, I'd like to hear them. You're good at this shit, get good at it. What's wrong with you today, anyway?
Some kids down at the store were calling me a nerd earlier. Can you fucking believe that?
Yeah, a little bit, I guess.
What do you mean?
Well, you do kind of look like a nerd. I mean, you're not a nerd. You're a fucking cool guy, but you look like one of those guys from Avengers of the Nerds or whatever.
I look like a nerd.
Yeah, but you're not one. You just look like one.
No, Ricky, if I look like one, then I am one. That's how it works.
No, it's not. You're fucking Donnie. He looks like a Horns. He's not a fucking Horns.
Ricky, if you look like a nerd, only thing required. So I'm a fucking nerd.
You're not a fucking nerd, Bubbles. That's not what I'm saying. You look a bit like a nerd. You're definitely not a fucking nerd. You're a good guy.
Well, that's awesome, Ricky. Thanks a lot, bud. Appreciate that.
Right on, Bubs.
I was being sarcastic.
What does that mean?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I'm a fucking nerd.
You're not a fucking nerd. You can't judge a cover of a book by its look. That's what I'm saying. You're not a fucking nerd.
Yeah. Thanks.
Fuck. Jesus Christ.
What the heck's going on here?
Jim, this is such a great little place that you have here.
Thanks for letting us stay, fuckface.
I didn't. Barb, You guys got 10 seconds to get off my property.
Oh, come on, Jim. It's only for 10.
Barb, I told you I didn't want to get involved in this.
And I told you that I wasn't going to take no for an answer. Oh, my God, look at this. It's chicken. Oh, my favorite.
That's my fucking chicken. Leave my fucking chicken alone.
Fucking make me, little man.
Look what we're watching tonight. Dances with Wolves.
Oh, good.
Oh, I just love his tight little pants.
Fuck off. Give me my fucking chicken. Give me my fucking chicken. Barb, you can get the fuck out of here.
You get the
this
fuck
is
out
my
of here.
fucking...
Fuck off.
You little...
Fuck off. Fuck off.
Ricky, get over here. What the fuck do you want?
I'm here under the strict authority of Julian to come and collect lot fees.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Yeah, it says you owe 2 months. Want it in cash right now.
No problem. I got lots of cash on me. Fuck. Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot to put it down here.
You put cash down your underwear?
Yeah, it's the best place to put it.
Oh, but frig off.
2 fucking months lot fees right there.
That's bullshit.
Yeah? You want the lot fees?
Off, Ricky.
Don't fucking touch me.
I fucking had it with
Oh, you
this
want to
shit.
go?
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
I love the
We're going
fucking
right
go.
now. We're going.
Boys, would you guys break it up? Randy, let go of him. Ricky, smarten the fuck up, guys. It's enough.
Julian, I came here to collect lot fees, and Ricky rubbed his bag sweat all over my face and in my mouth and asked me for oral sex.
I did not fucking ask you for oral sex. I said if you want lot fees, you can suck them out of the tip of my cock. It's a big difference.
I want the friggin' money, Ricky.
Oh, what are you gonna do about it?
Stop that? Jesus, Ricky.
You didn't mean collect them from me, you fucking dummy.
Well, I kind of did, Rick.
What are you talking about?
We need money.
The only money I have is the wedding money, and fucking everything else is tied up in inventory.
Give me the money, Ricky.
Pull up your fucking pants and go collect from
I
someone.
want the money.
Out there.
Pull up your pants and go collect from someone else.
This is horsecock, Julian.
Your mother sucks horse cocks.
Randy! Boys! It's enough!
I need my clipboard. That's it.
Guys! Jesus Christ, Ricky! Why?
See, Julian?
Why?
This is the shit I deal with. This isn't over, Ricky.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Collecting lot fees.
Suck. Do some fucking work. Jesus. All right, so you want to do jobs then?
I can't. I've got a fucking family to think about. I told you that.
Well, have fun packing up your entire family. When we lose, I've got to worry about myself, man.
Hey, you know what we gonna do? Tomorrow we gonna go to the park, set up a Skrilla bucket, and spit like old times. Boom, on the 1s and 2s era. What?
Nah, I got a big test coming up. I think fucking around this term.
Night. Well, I'll be inside watching TV with Marsha, you know what I'm saying? Holla at me if you want to. What, dog?
When are you gonna forget that hoe?
I know it's right now, you know what I mean? A pound of taquito, dog, and relax. Take your time and get at me when you want to spit, huh?
I'm sorry, Luce. I just can't right now.
Well, is it the neck brace? I can take it off.
No, you look hot as fuck. It's just, I need to talk to you about something.
Okay, what?
Let's suppose there was this really awesome family of bears that lived in the Sunny Woods. And everything was going really fucking good and wanted to get fucked up. But one day, this muscle moose, a friend of the daddy bear, came and said he needed to borrow some money. Daddy bear didn't really have any money, so the moose said, well, can we do a job? And the daddy bear's like, well, I don't want that to fuck my family up. And the moose said, well, if you don't, your family's gonna have to move out of the Sunny Woods.
Well, why would they have to move out of the Sunny Woods?
Because there's this fucking butchy, bitchy beaver that used to own the woods that might be coming back and taking the woods back. Moose could hire a lawyer to stop the butchy beaver from doing that. And in order to do that, they might have to do a job. You know, and then the daddy bear is just sort of worried what the mommy bear might think of the daddy bear if he does do the job with the muscle moose. And this other friend, he was an owl, actually. The daddy bear just doesn't want to fuck things up with his family of bears right now. And just worried what the mommy bear might think, I guess.
I think that the mommy bear fine with it and think that the daddy bear was like the sweetest bear in the world.
Really?
Yeah, as long as there were a few conditions sort of stuck to. Sure.
And what would the conditions be?
Well, the first one would be that the daddy bear would have to promise to bang the mommy bear really, really hard and put a baby bear inside of her.
I think the daddy bear could probably do that.
Yeah, you think that would?
What would be the other one?
We can get those later if you want to.
Well, let's go into the bear den and see what happens.
All right, let's go into that big, dirty bear den.
This is unfucking believable.
Hey, Julian.
How'd you make out?
Horribly. I haven't collected any lot fees.
Are you fucking kidding me?
People are being dicks, especially Marguerite. She stabbed Corey with a pair of nail clippers.
Oh, and he deserved it too, the little pecker clay.
All right, everybody listen up. There's gonna be no more credit. If you owe me money, pay me now or you're not getting served. Who the fuck comes to a bar without money?
Jesus.
Yo, Julie, so you tell me that we have to pay and we have to work?
Yes, you gotta pay for your drinks.
Well, you never paid us yet, so what's going on?
You're still not gonna get free fucking drinks.
Oh, fuck. Come on, Rockpaw, we the fuck out of here.
Thanks, guys.
Wait, baby, are you saying you have no money?
Well, I've got to figure this shit out. It's...
That's not gonna work for us. See you later.
What, you're breaking up with me?
Yeah. Love ya. Miss ya.
And how the fuck am I supposed to pay lot fees if you cut off credit and everybody stops drinking here?
How the fuck am I gonna pay wages when you're giving away all the drinks for free, Marguerite?
Fuck you, Julia.
Fuck you!
Tightwad.
No more credit ever again! Thanks a lot, Sunnyvale. Just trying to save the park here. Thought someone might want to fucking help me out.
Oh, yeah, well, I thought you might want to stop my car!
Fuck you, Donnie!
No, fuck you, muscles!
Hey, Bubs, you in here, man? Want to talk to you? What the fuck are you doing?
Combing my hair, Ricky.
You look like Leo DiCaprio, man. That movie you did. Fucking Nightmare on Wolf Street. Look at your hair.
That was a fucking good movie. He was cool in that movie. Ricky. Shh, be cool. Jesus, Ricky, be cool.
Ladder's not very strong, Bubs.
Well, it is. If you use it like a fucking regular human.
Would? Fucking starving. Listen, man. I know I said it was fucked earlier. I know you're gonna think it's fucked, but there's a lot of shit going on right now, and I'm pretty fucking stressed out. We should do some jobs with Julian.
Let's do it.
What?
Let's do it. I'm in. Totally fucking in.
Really?
I'm cool to do anything cool. Cooler than cool I am.
Cool.
I don't know how this whole fucking tab thing got so fucked up. $875 on this one pad alone. 2 to go. Guarantee you this is never gonna fucking happen again.
Julia, I'm so happy to see your face. I would like to introduce to you your friend.
Julian.
She's so beautiful. We would like some margaritas, por señoritas, please, so we can celebrate.
Jerry, why the fuck are you talking like that?
Julia, son chiquitos. We would like some drinks.
Yeah? Well, I'd like some money.
What happened to credit between friends? We are going through a bit of a tough time.
Yeah, you take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, okay?
I don't mean to be a dick here, right? But, so you may as well just get the fuck out, though.
Julia, I feel like you punched me in the feelings. You will not disrespect my beautiful right to her face. Marcia, would you excuse me for a moment, please? Daddy has some work. See what I'm doing, okay? Hey, that's some shit, dog.
Yeah, man.
Met that shouty down in Mexico. She feeling me, too.
Good for you.
Man, she thinks she's Spanish, dog.
Well, at first she was like, I ain't down with black heart. I then what if I brown it down right quick? That's why I talk like these. See?
She can't even understand English. J-Rock,
She knows some.
I mean, she's in SSSL.
SSSL, what the fuck is that?
70 sitcoms as a second language, dog.
Hey, check this out, dog. They used to watch, like, Emergency and some shit on a tiny TV, like a 4-inch, you know what I'm saying? Trent Trizzle.
J-Rock. I've had a very, very bad day, okay? So if you don't have any cash, you can't get any drinks. So get the fuck.
Hey, Randers. Mr. Leahy? What's going on, Mr. Leahy?
Hi, bud. Wow. Like your new look?
Thanks a lot. What are you doing here?
Just I need your help.
Oh, I might be able to help you. What's going on?
Barb and this great big lady and that thing that you were going out with last year, they fucking came in and just took over my trailer. I need your help getting them out.
I don't know if I could do that, Mr. Leahy.
Rangers, huh?
Julian won't let that happen.
What's Julian? Wait a sec, don't tell me. I don't want to fucking know. I don't want anything to do with anything around here, Andy. I just need your fucking help, bud. Please?
I'm not friggin' helping. I'm staying out of this, Mr. Lay, and I'm tired of dealing with you when you're drunk. I can smell the liquor on your breath.
I'm not drunk, Randy.
What?
Look, watch this.
Wow. You're pacing yourself?
Will you help me?
I'm sorry, Mr. Lay. I mean, I don't think I can. Last time we said we were going to take a break and work on ourselves.
Randy!
Mr. Lay, I'm not going to do it.
Randy!
Handle it yourself.
Oh, that's all right. I'm used to being alone, bud. Good luck to you. Good luck to the new super fucking fish.
I had a drink, you know what I'm saying?
Why are you so fucking irritating all the time?
Well, fucking Lenny and Squiggy bothering you too, dog? Just us.
Fuck did you say to me, J-Rock?
Pups,
Huh?
Pups.
Fuck did you say?
Pups. Calm down, man.
Huh?
Pump the brakes, Brill Cream. Don't gotta act
You
so
pump
hard.
the brakes there, fucking crass white strips. Let's go, Julian. We're doing some jobs.
That's right. We're fucking in.
No fucking way.
We're fucking in too then, you know what I mean?
We want
We're
in.
down with
Some
make some
liquor.
Skrilla.
Pour some liquor.
You got any money?
Put it on my tab.
All right. Bubbles, 5 drinks.
Doubles.
Doubles, even better.
Well, just take it easy, now.
And severely disrupted my daily life. You incredibly unreliable person. She raised her hand as if to slap him, but stopped herself. Richard stood his ground. All right, let us maintain our composure, Richard said firmly. Physical altercations are entirely unnecessary. Susan pointed a finger at his chest. Oh, is that your stance? She challenged. You are the one who transmitted the ailment. Richard shook his head vehemently. So, you are the responsible party, Richard countered softly but firmly. Yes, it was absolutely you, my misguided friend. You are the individual who strayed from our commitment. You are the one who was unfaithful. I did not spend time with anyone else, therefore it is scientifically impossible that I am the source of this contagion. You must have sought companionship elsewhere. Susan laughed bitterly. Oh, that is a classic defensive maneuver, Richard, she accused. You always attempt to reverse the narrative to protect yourself. Do you know the truth? You are completely disorganized. You lack intelligence. Your physical health is declining. Your choice of clothing is highly inappropriate. Do you wish to know the fundamental reason for all of these issues, Richard? I will tell you why. Because you are, quite simply, an unsuccessful individual. She turned on her heel. I reject you completely, Richard, she stated finally. You are an immense disappointment. As she walked away, Julian placed a comforting hand on the shoulder of his friend. Just allow her to depart, my friend, Julian advised softly. It is ultimately for the best outcome. You are far better off without that negative energy in your life. Are you feeling okay? Richard took a deep breath. Yes, I am perfectly fine, Richard replied stoically. Julian patted his back. Are you sure? Julian asked kindly. Perhaps we could brew a pot of calming herbal tea or share a comforting beverage. Let us go inside. Richard shook his head. No, I am quite all right, Richard insisted. What an incredibly unpleasant interaction. Bubbles walked over, his eyes wide. Gracious me. She possesses a very intense and unpredictable personality, Bubbles observed. Richard nodded slowly. Yes, she was certainly a dynamic presence, Richard agreed softly. Oh goodness me. I suppose I will just have to accept this situation and decide how to move forward gracefully. The crowd began to disperse, talking quietly among themselves. Let us try to restore a joyful atmosphere to this gathering, the announcer suggested gently. Let us celebrate the enduring friendships we share. Mr. Leahy and Randy were watching from a distance. And what are your thoughts on this dramatic turn of events, my wonderful companion? Mr. Leahy asked Randy playfully. You have no idea how much I missed your calm presence during our time away. Randy smiled. What was that? Randy asked. I completely agree with your assessment. You must remain vigilant, Mr. Leahy. We should never have accepted the terms proposed by Julian. Relinquishing half of our future earnings is a far greater sum than $25,000. It is completely unreasonable. Mr. Leahy tapped his temple wisely. You are not viewing the entire picture, my beautiful friend, Mr. Leahy explained patiently. Thank you for your concern. Please find a comfortable seat. Allow me to explain my strategy. Julian will require a significant amount of time to accumulate $25,000 from our modest weekly wages. Correct. Therefore, during that extended period, we can take the $25,000 we initially planned to offer that demanding individual, and we can invest it wisely to double or even triple the amount. We can simply treat the initial sum as speculative capital. Randy looked puzzled. What exactly are you proposing? Randy asked. How could we possibly double or triple such a large sum? Mr. Leahy smiled broadly. The local equestrian racing track, my friend, Mr. Leahy revealed excitedly. We simply relax in the grandstand, and we allow our intuition to guide our selections of the fastest horses. Furthermore, they operate a truly excellent dining facility at the track. They serve the most wonderfully comforting fried foods. Later that evening, Bubbles was quietly organizing his empty bottles. Despite the chaotic and unpredictable nature of today's events, I actually experienced a rather successful day of commerce, Bubbles thought to himself. I am pleasantly surprised. It simply means I will need to produce and sell a larger quantity of artisanal beverages tomorrow to maintain the momentum. That is a very positive outcome. Julian approached the cart, looking slightly anxious. Hello, my good friend, Julian greeted him. Please listen, Bubbles, would it be possible for me to borrow a small quantity of your crafted beverage? I have a lovely companion named Skylar arriving shortly. She does not prefer distilled spirits. She specifically requested a refreshing root beer. Bubbles raised an eyebrow. So, the preferences of your companion are now my responsibility to fulfill, Bubbles asked mildly. That is a very pleasant and wholesome name, Julian. Where did you make her acquaintance? At a community volunteer event. Julian looked impatient. Can you provide the beverages or not? Julian asked directly. Bubbles sighed. Of course I have the beverages available, Bubbles replied. All right, I appreciate it, Julian said, reaching for a carton. Bubbles stopped him gently. Please remember that acquiring the ingredients requires financial investment. Bubbles reminded him gently. The production process is not entirely free. Here is a package containing 6 bottles. Please try to remain calm. Julian took the package. I will certainly reimburse you in the near future, Julian promised. Bubbles looked at him with gentle concern. Remain calm, Julian repeated defensively. Well, how much longer do you intend to continue living in this unpredictable manner? Bubbles asked softly. Julian sighed. It is merely a small request for a few beverages, my friend, Julian defended himself. Bubbles nodded knowingly. Yes, it begins with a small request, and then the dependency gradually increases, Bubbles observed wisely. A few moments later, Richard wandered over, looking weary and defeated. Hello, my dear friends, Richard said quietly. I have exhausted my supply of comforting spirits. Is there any possibility that either of you could lend me a small sum, perhaps $20, to purchase a calming beverage? I feel a strong desire to numb my thoughts this evening, and I have only achieved a fraction of that goal thus far. Julian looked apologetic. I am very sorry, my friend, Julian replied sincerely. I currently possess absolutely zero funds. And while I would normally gladly share a comforting drink with you tonight, I must prioritize evaluating my own situation and entertaining my guest. Richard nodded slowly. That is perfectly understandable, Richard said without malice. I believe I prefer to spend some time in quiet solitude this evening anyway. He turned to Bubbles. Bubbles, could you please offer some minor assistance? Richard asked pleadingly. The stress of the day is becoming overwhelming. Bubbles looked at his two oldest friends and felt a profound sadness mix with a sudden burst of clarity. You two gentlemen are in a very difficult situation, Bubbles said softly, his voice full of emotion. Both of you are struggling significantly. Here, please be careful, Richard. Let me assist you. I will provide you with a small measure of my personal reserve, because I genuinely feel deep sympathy for the unfortunate events you experienced today. The outcome was deeply unfair. However, I also believe the separation is ultimately for the best possible outcome. I truly believe that in my heart. Bubbles paused, gathering his thoughts. My dear friends, I need to express some feelings that have been growing within me for quite some time. Bubbles began, his tone serious and heartfelt. These thoughts have been accumulating, and I can no longer keep them hidden. Please give me your full attention. Let me begin by stating clearly and unconditionally that I love you both very much. I always have loved you, and I always will cherish our bond. Julian smiled softly. We love you too, my dear friend, Julian replied warmly. Yes, our love is mutual, Richard added. Bubbles held up a hand. Please allow me to continue without interruption, Bubbles requested. Please listen carefully for a moment. I hold the conversational floor. Now, my words might cause a slight emotional sting, but they are absolutely necessary to articulate. Have either of you genuinely examined your reflections in a mirror recently? Have you truly looked closely and honestly at yourselves? Richard shook his head. No, I have avoided doing so, Richard admitted quietly. I prefer not to examine my reflection too closely. The image sometimes causes me anxiety, and I feel overwhelmed by my own thoughts. Bubbles nodded slowly. Well, you should make the effort, improve his physical health, and become a better man. The injury, he clarified, was the result of a disastrous recreational activity. He and his friends Corey and Jacob had been enthusiastically participating in a new sport called rollerblade skiing. They were moving at a high speed when they struck a treacherous patch of loose gravel and tumbled heavily to the ground. Jacob had suffered the most severe impact and was resting at home. Julian remained highly skeptical, demanding to know the true origin of the mysterious wounds. The pressure of the moment was too much for Ricky to bear. He finally broke down and confessed the entire truth to his concerned family and friends. Ricky apologized deeply to his daughter Trinity and the rest of the group gathered around him. He revealed that he had been keeping a massive secret throughout the entire summer season. He had not been attending the educational certification courses for small engine repair or crane operation as he had previously claimed. Instead, he had been independently cultivating a massive garden of rare medicinal herbs in a secluded forest location near the coastal bluff. Trinity expressed profound disappointment at his broken promises and his return to risky behavior. Ricky pleaded for understanding, describing the incredible beauty of his agricultural achievement. He had collaborated with a master botanist to cultivate a revolutionary new variety of plants designed to help people relax. He had installed a complex irrigation system to nurture 75 magnificent specimens that grew up to 8 feet tall. He had arranged a singular, highly lucrative transaction that would have provided lasting financial security for his entire family. However, the previous night, an unknown group had infiltrated his location, harvested his entire crop, and frightened them away with loud warning noises. Trinity was devastated that Ricky had endangered her husband Jacob by involving him in such a risky nighttime endeavor. Ricky promised to find the culprits and demand justice, but his friends urged him to let the past go. They wanted him to focus on building a safe and legitimate future rather than chasing lost dreams. Ricky agreed that his upcoming big announcement would change everything and bring them all joy. In another part of the city, Mr. Leahy and his loyal companion Randy were finally experiencing the sweet and refreshing taste of freedom. They had endured a difficult period of confinement due to a complex misunderstanding involving $400,000 of municipal funds. Leahy expressed his deep disdain for their past troubles but found great solace in the fact that they were starting anew together. Randy echoed this beautiful sentiment, affirming that their shared hardships had only strengthened their profound bond of friendship and unyielding loyalty. A local official named Ted approached them in the parking lot, reminding them of a secret and highly sensitive arrangement. Ted explained that the massive sum of money originally intended for a distant government vault had been redirected to purchase necessary community safety equipment. This equipment included new computers, advanced forensic tools, and a modern patrol vehicle for the local station. Ted offered Leahy and Randy a substantial sum of $50,000 to permanently forget the details of this unusual transaction. He warned them with a stern voice that breaking this silence would result in severe consequences for their future freedom. Leahy and Randy readily agreed, recognizing the incredible financial opportunity to rebuild their lives peacefully and comfortably. They envisioned a bright future filled with simple pleasures and quiet days. Back at the trailer park, Ricky was proudly displaying a magnificent multi-level wooden structure he had constructed entirely by himself. He gave Corey and Jacob a detailed tour of his impressive creation, pointing out the cleverly designed resting areas, the outdoor entertainment setup, and the beautiful upper deck adorned with comfortable reclining chairs. Ricky boasted about his precise craftsmanship and the immense joy it brought him to build tangible things with his own two hands. However, his mind was heavily occupied with his upcoming grand announcement. He knew it had to be spectacular to impress the entire community. Jacob suggested absurd ideas like pretending to be a global political leader, while Corey proposed arriving in a massive industrial dump truck. Ricky dismissed these foolish notions, demanding something truly exotic and highly memorable. Jacob suddenly suggested an animal, perhaps a large majestic creature that consumed grass and lived on a traditional farm. The brilliant idea of a horse materialized in the air between them. Corey enthusiastically added that presenting the horse as a grand engagement gift to Susan would elevate the announcement to legendary status. Ricky was absolutely thrilled by this magnificent concept. He believed a beautiful engagement horse was the perfect and undeniable symbol of his immense love and lifelong dedication. He instructed his friends to help him secure the gentle animal for the evening festivities. Meanwhile, Leahy and Randy returned to the quiet park, hoping to peacefully enjoy their new financial windfall. They were immediately confronted by a very angry Julian, who blamed them for all the past misfortunes that had ruined his financial stability. Julian aggressively demanded that Leahy and Randy surrender half of their future earnings to compensate for the massive sum of money he believed they had cost him during their previous conflicts. Leahy, utilizing his deep understanding of strategy and human nature, calmly agreed to the harsh terms of Julian. Later, in the privacy of their home, Leahy explained his brilliant and cunning plan to his dear friend Randy. By seemingly accepting the heavy financial demands, they would successfully pacify Julian and avoid further conflict. In reality, they secretly possessed the $50,000 from the official. They could carefully invest this hidden wealth at the local equestrian racing facility, multiplying their fortune over time without Julian ever discovering the truth. They promised each other to keep the secret safe and enjoy their newfound prosperity in quiet harmony. The highly anticipated moment for the grand celebration finally arrived. A large and cheerful crowd gathered in the center of the park, enjoying the festive atmosphere and the delicious artisanal beverages generously provided by Bubbles. Ricky took the center stage, his heart pounding with intense excitement and profound hope for the future. He thanked everyone for attending this monumental occasion and sharing in his joy. He signaled to Corey and Jacob, who proudly led a magnificent, beautifully decorated horse into the clearing. The crowd gasped in absolute astonishment. Bubbles stared in utter disbelief, unable to comprehend why his friend had acquired a large farm animal for a simple party. Ricky confidently declared to the gathered crowd that he intended to present this beautiful creature to the absolute love of his life, Susan, and ask for her hand in marriage. Bubbles immediately intervened, stepping forward to urge Ricky to abandon this foolish and extravagant plan. He pointed out with gentle concern that Ricky and Susan had a very turbulent relationship filled with constant disagreements and loud arguments. Bubbles believed that a genuine proposal of marriage did not require grand, ridiculous gestures or large livestock. Ricky defended his romantic actions, believing that their profound emotional connection and shared intimate moments heavily outweighed their frequent verbal conflicts. He was determined to proceed with his grand display of affection. Before Ricky could proceed with his romantic proposal, Susan stormed into the festive gathering. Her face was contorted with absolute fury and deep disappointment. She marched directly toward Ricky and loudly accused him of profound and unforgivable betrayal. She claimed that he had been secretly associating with unfaithful people and had contracted a terrible contagious illness. She stated with absolute fury that she had now caught this dreadful illness because of his reckless behavior and her entire life was ruined. The cheerful crowd surrounding the beautiful horse fell into a shocked and highly uncomfortable silence. Ricky stepped forward with his hands raised in a peaceful and pleading gesture. He begged her to calm down and listen to reason. He swore with absolute sincerity that he had never been intimate with anyone else during their entire relationship. He loved spending romantic time with her and had absolutely no desire to seek affection elsewhere. He logically pointed out that if he was completely innocent of these charges, then she must have been the one who engaged in secret romances and brought the illness into their lives. Susan became highly defensive and incredibly irate. She completely refused to accept any responsibility for the situation and instead launched a cruel and public verbal attack on the character of Ricky. She mocked his simple clothing, his lack of conventional intelligence, and his humble living situation. She declared with a loud and piercing voice that he was a complete failure in life and loudly announced the absolute end of their relationship. She turned sharply and walked away, leaving Ricky standing entirely alone in the quiet clearing with a broken heart and a very confused horse. Julian approached the devastated Ricky, offering gentle words of comfort and suggesting they find solace in quiet reflection away from the staring crowd. Ricky politely declined, choosing to sit in somber silence and process the immense pain of his shattered dreams. Bubbles, carrying the heavy weight of wisdom and deep concern for his dear friends, stepped forward into the center of the remaining group. He felt a deep, overwhelming need to speak his truth and guide his chosen family toward a better path. Why he would possibly need a horse for an engagement. Julian was equally critical. He bluntly told Ricky that the gesture was foolish and unnecessary. He argued that if Susan truly loved him, she would not require a massive animal to accept his proposal. Bubbles approached Ricky and voiced his deep concerns. He pointed out that Ricky and Susan had a very turbulent relationship filled with constant arguing and conflict. He questioned the wisdom of entering into a marriage under such unstable conditions. Ricky defended his decision. He explained that he truly loved Susan and believed their strong romantic connection could overcome any arguments. He admitted that the horse might have been an overly extravagant gift, but he simply wanted to demonstrate the massive size of his love for her. He felt the engagement itself was the truly important news. Bubbles sighed and offered his reluctant congratulations. He stated that his only desire was for his friend to find true happiness. The moment of truth arrived when Susan finally appeared at the gathering. The crowd parted to let her through. Instead of a joyful reunion, she was consumed by absolute fury. She immediately launched into a devastating verbal attack against Ricky. She accused him of terrible betrayals and severe dishonesty. She claimed that his actions had caused her to be evicted from her home and had ruined her life. She directed harsh insults at him and publicly declared that their relationship was permanently finished. Ricky was completely stunned by her explosive reaction. He desperately tried to calm her down and understand the source of her immense anger. He firmly denied any wrongdoing and insisted that he had been entirely faithful to her. He proclaimed his deep love and explained that he had gathered everyone there to ask for her hand in marriage. Susan laughed bitterly at his proposal. She revealed a shocking truth that left the entire crowd in silence. She confessed that she had been living with another person for the past 16 years. She admitted that her relationship with Ricky was nothing more than a temporary distraction. She callously described their time together as a meaningless mistake. She blamed Ricky for ruining her long-term living arrangement and causing her current state of misery. She unleashed a final torrent of cruel insults, degrading his intelligence, his appearance, and his overall worth as a human being. She declared him a complete failure and stormed away into the night, leaving Ricky broken and humiliated in front of his friends and family. The heavy silence that followed was heartbreaking. Julian gently placed a hand on the shoulder of his friend. He offered words of comfort, suggesting that the painful separation was ultimately for the best. He assured Ricky that he was far better off without such a volatile and cruel person in his life. He invited Ricky to share a quiet moment of reflection and a comforting beverage to ease the pain of the rejection. Ricky quietly declined the offer. He felt a profound sense of emptiness and sorrow. He watched as the community slowly tried to resume the festivities, but the joyous atmosphere had been completely shattered. Later that night, when the crowds had dispersed, Bubbles gathered Julian and Ricky for a serious conversation. The events of the day had weighed heavily on his mind, and he felt a desperate need to share his true feelings. He began by affirming his deep and unconditional love for his two lifelong friends. He assured them that his love would never fade. He then took a deep breath and delivered a powerful and emotional speech. He asked them to truly reflect on their lives and their current physical and emotional states. He urged them to look closely in the mirror and acknowledge the passage of time. He pointed out that they were all growing older and losing their youthful energy. He expressed his deep sadness that despite their advancing years, their behavior had not changed since they were teenagers. They were still engaging in foolish and illegal schemes that brought them nothing but hardship and failure. Bubbles emphasized that nobody was benefiting from their endless cycle of mistakes. He reminded Ricky that his secret agricultural venture was a dangerous illusion and that he should never have lied to his closest friends. Ricky humbly agreed and expressed deep regret for his deceptive actions. Bubbles continued his passionate plea. He declared that this moment needed to serve as a profound wake-up call for all of them. He highlighted his own successful efforts to build a legitimate and honest business. He contrasted his progress with their current state of financial ruin and desperation. He warned them of the inevitable consequences of their actions. He painted a bleak picture of a future spent entirely in confinement, isolated from their families and loved ones. He described the tragic reality of facing the end of their lives alone without the comfort of friendship. He looked deeply into the eyes of his friends and issued a final challenge. He stated that if they truly loved him as much as they claimed, they would abandon their life of lawlessness forever. He demanded a permanent commitment to honesty and personal growth. He finished his speech and handed Ricky a small glass of a soothing beverage. He told Ricky to use the drink to help him think deeply about the words that had been spoken. He left his friends sitting in the quiet darkness of the night, hoping that his heartfelt message would finally bring about the positive change they all so desperately needed. The evening breeze swept through the tranquil park as Ricky stood under the canopy of stars. He took a deep breath and reflected on his journey thus far. He felt that this was a monumentally significant night for him. He thought about how he had finally accomplished something entirely on his own and how the rewards of his hard work were finally manifesting. He realized that his past endeavors had often gone awry precisely because he had overly relied on the guidance and involvement of his dear friends Julian and Bubbles. Now, he had truly educated himself on the intricacies of business and agriculture. He firmly believed that if you want a task done correctly, you must execute it yourself with dedication and focus. He acknowledged internally that his friends had assisted slightly, but the triumph was primarily his own achievement. His friends had offered their support and loyalty, but Ricky demanded their silence as he basked in his triumphant monologue. He had successfully secured an incredible and highly discreet arrangement with a reputable botanical dispensary located in the city of Halifax. The transaction would be completed in physical currency, pure cash money. He felt a profound sense of completion and satisfaction. He whispered to the night air that he had finally achieved his ultimate goal. He anticipated that Julian and Bubbles might express a hint of disappointment upon discovering his independent venture, as they were accustomed to working as a unified team. However, Ricky had devised a brilliant contingency plan to smooth over any potential hurt feelings. he decided that he would host a massive, joyful celebration for the entire community. Celebrations, he philosophized, possessed the magical and undeniable ability to mend any fractured relationship and bring people together in harmony. Ricky cautiously guided his companions, Corey and Jacob, past the thick tree line that bordered the designated agricultural area. He turned to them and instructed that when they arrived at the site, there must be absolute silence and unwavering focus. He emphasized the importance of harvesting the botanical plants as swiftly and efficiently as possible so they could depart safely before the morning sun began to rise. His companions agreed enthusiastically, their voices filled with youthful energy. They reassured Ricky that they had everything completely under control and thanked him profusely for including them in this momentous harvest. Suddenly, a series of loud, startling noises pierced the quiet night. Panic instantly ensued among the group. Someone questioned in a hushed, frightened tone if the local authorities had unexpectedly arrived. The sudden shock of the loud sounds was sufficient to scatter the previously confident group. They scattered in various directions in pure fear, shouting urgently at each other to return and stay together. But the chaotic retreat was inevitable and unstoppable. Ricky lamented his perpetual misfortune as he ran, wondering aloud why the universe consistently presented him with such challenging and unpredictable obstacles, comparing his situation to a hermit crab constantly searching for a safe and secure home. Meanwhile, in another corner of the vibrant park community, Bubbles was enthusiastically showcasing his brand-new entrepreneurial endeavor to anyone who would listen. He warmly greeted his friends as they approached and invited them to closely inspect his impressive and meticulously organized setup. He explained with great pride that he had recently sold his secret, highly sought-after pizza sauce recipe to a gentleman who spoke with a very unusual and charming accent. Bubbles detailed how he had wisely reinvested every single penny from that profitable sale into creating a sophisticated artisan brewing operation. He proudly displayed his complex creation, noting that while the business had started off rather slowly, it was now generating a substantial and highly respectable daily income. His signature beverage, affectionately named the Green Bastard India Pale Ale, was rapidly becoming a beloved local place, and if the massive beverage order was still necessary. Ricky enthusiastically confirmed that the party was absolutely proceeding as planned. He reiterated that a magnificent announcement was imminent and that it would bring great joy to everyone involved. He loudly proclaimed to the entire household that something wonderful was about to happen. Trinity offered a small, hopeful smile and stated that the news had better be truly spectacular. Ricky promised her that it would be the most wonderful surprise imaginable. In a different part of the region, Mr. Leahy and his loyal companion Randy were experiencing a moment of profound relief and gratitude. They were finally being released from the local holding facility after a long period of reflection. Mr. Leahy expressed his intense dislike for the restrictive environment they were leaving behind. He acknowledged that they were starting over with absolutely no financial resources, but he maintained a remarkably positive outlook. He stated that material wealth mattered very little compared to the freedom they were about to regain. He looked at Randy with deep affection and declared that as long as they had each other, they could overcome any obstacle. He reflected on their time in confinement, noting that the difficult experience had actually strengthened their bond and brought them closer together than ever before. He felt that their mutual care and respect had reached a new, beautiful level. His only mild concern was that Randy might need some time to readjust to the overwhelming pace of the outside world. As they gathered their few belongings, Officer Ted approached them. Ted was a complex man who often navigated the gray areas of his profession. He noted that they were now free citizens and casually mentioned a rumor that they might attempt to cause administrative difficulties for him regarding their case. Mr. Leahy, standing tall with newfound dignity, replied that the truth always brings ultimate freedom. He assured Ted that they harbored no vindictive intentions. Ted then revealed a surprising development. He offered them $50,000 in cash. He explained that this money was meant to be returned to the community under a specific bureaucratic protocol. The original sum of $400,000 was supposed to be transferred to the Central Administrative Office and locked away endlessly in an evidence archive. Ted felt this administrative process was highly inefficient and illogical. He explained that his local department was in desperate need of updated computer systems, new forensic technology, and safer patrol vehicles. Ted had quietly arranged for the majority of the funds to be reallocated directly to the local station to serve the community better. He presented the remaining $50,000 to Mr. Leahy and Randy as a form of a peaceful settlement, requesting only their absolute silence regarding the administrative reallocation. He asked if they could reach an amicable understanding or if he would be forced to prolong their administrative difficulties. Mr. Leahy and Randy, recognizing the incredible blessing before them, quickly agreed to the terms. They thanked Ted sincerely, understanding that this unexpected financial gift could help them rebuild their lives. Ted firmly reminded them of their promise to remain silent about the origin of the funds, ensuring a peaceful resolution for everyone involved. Back at the trailer park, Ricky was incredibly proud of his recent carpentry work. He eagerly showed Corey and Jacob the intricate wooden structure he had built entirely by himself. He guided them through his creation, pointing out the cleverly designed outdoor kitchen area and his comfortable sleeping quarters, complete with a flat-screen television. He invited them to step inside and admire the cozy space. He demonstrated the functional downstairs washroom and proudly displayed the special sleeping area he had constructed specifically for his young grandson, noting how much the child loved spending time there. He then led them upstairs to a magnificent rooftop patio. The area was adorned with comfortable reclining chairs, a high-quality sound system, a modern television, and a beautiful lamp that he had crafted with his own hands. He had even built a small, sturdy stool specifically for Jacob, anticipating his needs. He pointed out an innovative and highly convenient plumbing solution he had designed for the upper deck, allowing for easy access to facilities without needing to travel downstairs. He beamed with pride, asking his friends for their opinion on his architectural masterpiece. He declared that he felt like a king living in his own constructed castle. Jacob enthusiastically praised the deck, stating that it was absolutely incredible and that he loved spending time in the elevated space. Ricky appreciated the compliment but quickly shifted the conversation back to his pressing dilemma. He reminded them of the grand announcement he had promised to the entire community. He confessed that he needed a truly spectacular idea, otherwise, he would appear foolish and disappoint his family. Corey, always eager to help, suggested a highly imaginative idea. He proposed that Ricky should announce that he was running for the presidency of the nation, arguing that nothing could possibly be larger or more impressive than that. Jacob gently critiqued the idea, pointing out that such an announcement lacked credibility given their current circumstances. Jacob suggested that Ricky needed to make a grand entrance with something tangible and massive, like arriving in a giant construction vehicle. Ricky expressed his mild frustration, feeling that his friends were not grasping the emotional core of what he wanted to achieve. Corey then proposed involving a magnificent animal. He suggested something exotic and breathtaking, like a rare snow tiger. Ricky considered the idea thoughtfully. He agreed that an animal could create a powerful and memorable moment, but he noted the logistical impossibility of acquiring a snow tiger in their local area. He refined the concept, stating that they needed a large, impressive creature that was available nearby. Jacob proudly offered his suggestion, describing a large creature with 4 legs that consumes grass and resides on agricultural land. Corey mistakenly guessed a spider, which Ricky gently corrected by explaining basic arachnid anatomy. Jacob finally revealed his brilliant idea. He suggested a majestic horse. Ricky was completely stunned by the sheer brilliance of the concept. He visualized the scene and realized it was absolutely perfect. He praised Jacob for his incredible imagination. Corey then added a layer of deep romance to the plan. He suggested that the horse could serve as a magnificent engagement gift for Susan, the woman Ricky loved. This addition elevated the announcement from a simple surprise to a life-altering romantic gesture. Ricky clarified that he was not currently engaged to Susan, but he quickly realized that presenting her with a horse along with a heartfelt proposal would make the event legendary. Corey enthusiastically imagined Ricky making his grand entrance leading the beautiful equine companion. Ricky agreed that the plan was flawless. He firmly rejected a secondary suggestion from Corey to attach a decorative horn to the horse to simulate a mythical creature, feeling that such an addition would distract from the genuine beauty of the moment. Ricky was overjoyed, knowing that an engagement horse would be the ultimate expression of his affection and the perfect centerpiece for his grand party. Meanwhile, Mr. Leahy and Randy were strolling through the park, their pockets heavy with their newly acquired wealth. Randy cautioned his mentor, reminding him that Julian harbored deep resentment toward them and might attempt to cause them harm upon their return. Mr. Leahy, feeling empowered by their financial security, proposed a diplomatic solution. He suggested offering a portion of their money to Julian as a gesture of peace and reconciliation. He hoped that financial compensation might encourage Julian to forgive past grievances and allow them all to live in harmony. Randy questioned the wisdom of this approach, but Mr. Leahy gently reminded him that their past actions had caused significant stress for the community. He pointed out that their choices had led to difficult consequences for others, and offering restitution was the honorable path to take. Randy acknowledged the deep wisdom in Mr. Leahy's words. They discussed offering Julian a substantial sum, knowing that even after such a generous gift, they would retain enough funds to live comfortably and peacefully for many years. They made a solemn pact never to reveal the true source of the money to anyone, ensuring their continued safety and peace of mind. They decided to stop at a local establishment to purchase some fine refreshments to celebrate their freedom and their new, positive outlook on the future. Ricky, Corey, and Jacob arrived at a local farm to procure the majestic animal for the engagement. Ricky admired the beautiful horse, noting the healthy shine of its coat. He urged his friends to gently guide the animal so they could return to the park in time for the celebration. The horse, however, was hesitant to move. Ricky instructed Jacob to push gently from behind while Corey led from the front. Corey expressed mild apprehension, having learned that standing directly behind a large animal could be unpredictable. Ricky encouraged them to work together softly. Despite their gentle efforts, he turned to Julian, acknowledging the struggles Julian faced in trying to live an honest life. He understood the temptation to look for easy shortcuts when times were tough. But he reminded Julian that the path to a good life requires perseverance, even when it is difficult. Bubbles painted a vivid picture of the future if they refused to change. He warned them that continuing down their current path would inevitably lead to severe consequences. They would find themselves isolated, separated from the community and the family they loved. He urged them to imagine a future where they were not present to support each other, a future defined by regret and missed opportunities. His words hung in the quiet evening air, carrying the weight of absolute truth. He told them that if they truly loved him, and if they truly loved themselves and their families, the cycle of risky behavior had to end permanently. This was not a lecture, but a desperate plea from a friend who wanted to see them thrive. He declared that it was a wake-up call, an opportunity to make a conscious decision to change their lives for the better. Ricky and Julian listened in profound silence. The events of the day, the loss of the garden, the painful breakup, the realization of their own vulnerabilities, all culminated in this moment of clarity. They realized that Bubbles was absolutely right. They had spent so much time chasing illusions that they had neglected the most important aspects of life: their families, their true friendships, and their own well-being. Ricky looked down at his hands, thinking about the deck he had built. He realized that the deck was a symbol of what he was truly capable of when he applied his skills to something positive and lasting. He did not need a grand, risky scheme to prove his worth. He needed to focus on building a stable foundation for himself and his daughter. Julian took a sip of his beverage, the taste of the hard work of Bubbles serving as a tangible reminder of what could be achieved through dedication. He let go of his pride and acknowledged that he needed to start from the beginning, to find honest work and rebuild his life step by step, without looking for a rapid, risky solution. The three friends sat together as the night deepened, a sense of peace finally settling over them. They did not need a massive party or a grand announcement to validate their lives. They had each other, they had their health, and they had a renewed commitment to a better future. They realized that true wealth was not found in hidden gardens or fast money, but in the quiet strength of their enduring friendship and the simple, honest effort of living a good life. They raised their glasses in a silent toast, acknowledging the end of an era and the hopeful beginning of a new chapter. The road ahead would certainly have its challenges, and they would undoubtedly face new obstacles. But as they looked at each other, they knew that they would face those challenges together, not with foolish schemes, but with the steady, reliable support of true brotherhood. They had finally grown up, and the future, while uncertain, looked brighter than it ever had before. The night sky over the quiet town was a blanket of deep velvet dotted with shimmering stars that seemed to reflect the newfound hope in the heart of Ricky. He stood alone at the edge of the forest, breathing in the crisp air of late summer. This was a truly monumental night for him. He reflected on how he had finally built something entirely of his own making, and the hard work was about to bear fruit. In the past, his reliance on his dear friends Julian and Bubbles had sometimes complicated their shared endeavors. But this time he had taken the initiative to educate himself. He realized that if a person wanted something done with care and precision, they had to take the reins themselves. Of course, he quietly acknowledged the small but meaningful ways his friends had supported him along the way. He felt a deep sense of pride. He had secured a wonderful, completely legitimate agreement with a local organic farmer in Halifax to supply them with his specially cultivated giant heirloom tomatoes. The exchange would bring him a fair sum of honest currency. He felt a wave of relief wash over him, believing that his days of financial struggle were finally coming to an end. He anticipated that Julian and Bubbles might feel a little left out when they discovered his secret agricultural project. He planned to smooth things over by hosting a massive, joyous community gathering. In his experience, a grand celebration with good food and laughter had the power to mend any minor misunderstandings. Ricky gathered his loyal companions, Corey and Jacob, near the edge of the tree line. He instructed them in a hushed, serious tone. He told them that once they reached the garden clearing, they needed to work diligently and quietly. Their goal was to harvest the beautiful red vegetables as efficiently as possible and transport them safely before the morning sun crested the horizon. Corey and Jacob nodded enthusiastically, expressing their unwavering support and thanking Ricky for inviting them to be part of such an important harvest. Suddenly, a loud, unexpected noise echoed through the woods. It sounded like the sharp crack of a distant firework. Panic momentarily gripped the trio. They stumbled over their own feet in the dark, tumbling headfirst into a dense patch of thorny blackberry bushes. Ricky groaned as he untangled himself from the prickly vines, feeling a profound sense of disappointment. He wondered why the universe always seemed to place such comical obstacles in his path just when he was on the verge of success. They retreated empty-handed, covered in minor scratches but grateful that they were safe. The next morning, the sun shone brightly on the trailer park. Bubbles was busy setting up his new entrepreneurial venture. He greeted his neighbors warmly, eager to show off his latest creation. He explained that he had sold his famous family pizza sauce recipe to a kind gentleman from out of town and had reinvested every single penny into crafting artisanal sparkling apple cider. He gestured proudly to his neat rows of glass bottles. He noted that the business had started off a bit slow, but the community was finally embracing his healthy, refreshing beverage. He called it the Green Valley Cider. The residents of the park were purchasing large quantities of it, and his small enterprise was truly flourishing. Despite his success, Bubbles felt a gentle pressure mounting. Ricky had announced that he was hosting a major celebration later that day and had placed a massive order for 22 crates of the sparkling cider. Bubbles deduced that Ricky must have some incredibly wonderful news to share. He felt energized and pumped to fulfill the order. Just then, Julian and Pops strolled over to his stand. Pops smiled warmly and asked Bubbles how the cider business was treating him. Bubbles beamed, declaring that it was a magnificent experience and far more fulfilling than his previous odd jobs. Pop suggested playfully that Bubbles should create a special edition cider named after him, perhaps calling it Muscle Man Cider. Bubbles chuckled, appreciating the light-hearted humor of his friend. Julian leaned in, his tone shifting to one of genuine curiosity. He asked Bubbles about his sales volume and whether the venture was turning a steady profit. Bubbles noticed the sudden keen interest in the eyes of Julian. He playfully teased Julian, pointing out that now that the cider was profitable, Julian suddenly wanted to learn all about the business model. Julian raised his hands defensively, explaining that he simply wanted to ensure his friend was managing his finances correctly and not being taken advantage of by suppliers. He asked Bubbles if he understood his profit margins and company valuation. Bubbles laughed, telling Julian not to use fancy business television terms on him. Julian sighed, his shoulders slumping slightly. He confessed to Bubbles that he was currently experiencing severe financial difficulties. He expressed his earnest desire to live an honest, legitimate life, but found the transition incredibly challenging. He recounted a humbling experience from the previous night. He had invited a lovely woman over for a movie date in his living room, but he was so short on funds that she had to purchase the microwave popcorn herself. He felt a deep sense of embarrassment over the situation. Bubbles offered a sympathetic ear, reminding Julian that genuine connection mattered more than material wealth. Julian felt a twinge of shame but appreciated the comforting words of his friend. Later that afternoon, Ricky walked into the communal area. His arm was bandaged from his tumble into the thorny bushes. The others looked at him with concern. Julian asked Ricky how he had sustained such an injury. Ricky, feeling a bit sheepish about his failed midnight harvest, fabricated a story. He claimed that he, Corey, and Jacob had been enthusiastically participating in an energetic session of off-road roller skating. He described how they were gliding along beautifully until they hit an unexpected patch of loose gravel and tumbled to the ground. He mentioned that Jacob had taken the brunt of the fall but was resting comfortably. Trinity, the daughter of Ricky, looked at the minor scrapes on the chest of Jacob and gently called out the tall tale. She pointed out a severely damaged reputation after the highly embarrassing, total failure of his secret herbal garden project. Corey thoughtfully and seriously suggested that Ricky should announce a massive nationwide campaign to run for the highest office of the presidency of the entire nation. Corey genuinely believed that absolutely nothing could possibly be more monumental or impressive. Jacob strongly and enthusiastically supported the political idea, calling it brilliant, highly strategic, and completely believable. Ricky quickly and frustratedly dismissed the ambitious suggestion as entirely absurd, highly unrealistic, and completely unconvincing to anyone who actually knew him. Corey then thoughtfully suggested that whatever the actual announcement was, Ricky desperately needed to make a highly grand, unforgettable entrance, perhaps arriving dramatically in a massive, brightly colored industrial dump truck with flashing lights. Ricky grew increasingly frustrated with their highly unhelpful and wildly unrealistic ideas, wondering aloud in an annoyed tone why he had even asked for their creative assistance in the first place. Jacob tried one more time, carefully suggesting they actively incorporate an incredibly large, highly exotic animal into the presentation, such as a majestic, incredibly rare snow tiger. Ricky paused for a long moment, surprisingly admitting that the inclusion of a large, impressive animal was actually a very compelling and potentially brilliant concept. However, he immediately questioned the logical practicality of actually acquiring a genuinely rare snow tiger in their highly normal local suburban area. He specifically clarified that they desperately needed an animal that was both physically large and highly impressive to look at, but also easily accessible and relatively affordable within their immediate region. Jacob confidently suggested another animal, but unfortunately used a very strange, highly confusing slang term to describe it. Ricky aggressively demanded immediate clarification of the bizarre word. Jacob awkwardly explained that he was simply referring to a standard, everyday farm cow. Ricky loudly criticized the completely unnecessary use of the highly confusing terminology. Suddenly, a bright spark of pure inspiration hit Ricky like a bolt of lightning. He loudly realized that a beautiful, elegant horse would be the absolute perfect animal for the occasion. It was undeniably large, incredibly beautiful, universally admired, and relatively easy to locate locally. Corey was absolutely astounded by the sheer brilliance and simplicity of the idea. Jacob further elevated the grand concept by enthusiastically suggesting that the majestic horse should be presented as a lavish, unforgettable gift for Susan, successfully transforming the entire event into a spectacular, highly public romantic engagement proposal. Jacob even foolishly suggested permanently attaching a fake, decorative horn to the forehead of the horse to magically make it resemble a mythical, legendary creature. Ricky enthusiastically and completely embraced the core concept of the romantic engagement horse, but strongly and immediately rejected the incredibly silly, childish modification idea. He felt absolutely confident, deep in his soul, that this highly grand romantic gesture would successfully change his life forever. Elsewhere in the park, Mr. Leahy and Randy were privately and quietly discussing their newly acquired, highly secret wealth. Randy expressed deep, lingering concern about their currently strained, highly negative relationship with Julian. He gently reminded Mr. Leahy that Julian still actively and loudly blamed them for his recent, prolonged period of severe financial and personal misfortune. Randy carefully proposed a highly peaceful, proactive resolution to the ongoing conflict. He suggested thoughtfully that they use a small portion of their newly acquired funds to offer Julian a highly generous, unexpected financial settlement. He sincerely hoped this grand gesture would permanently erase their past conflicts, soothe any lingering anger, and establish a lasting, highly stable peace in the community. Mr. Leahy considered the proposal very carefully, stroking his chin in thought. He eventually agreed that their previous, misguided actions had indeed caused significant, highly unfair distress to Julian and their wider community. He fully acknowledged that the wives of their peers were still deeply, perhaps permanently upset by the unfortunate events of the past. Randy heavily emphasized the basic fairness of the idea, intelligently noting that they had successfully secured their freedom and immense wealth while others in the community had suffered terribly. Mr. Leahy warmly praised Randy for his highly wise, incredibly compassionate perspective on the matter. They mutually and happily agreed to offer Julian a highly substantial portion of the secret money, confident in the knowledge that they would still easily retain enough wealth to live highly comfortably and completely without worry for a very long time. Before officially concluding their important discussion, they solemnly and strictly promised each other to keep the true, highly illegal source of their massive fortune an absolute, permanent secret, deeply fearing that the truth would constantly endanger their physical safety and their newly found freedom. Ricky, Corey, and Jacob miraculously managed to acquire a beautiful horse, but they were immediately faced with a highly significant, completely unexpected logistical challenge. The incredibly large animal completely and stubbornly refused to walk even a single step forward. Ricky openly admired the incredibly beautiful, soft color of the coat of the horse but loudly expressed his intense, boiling frustration at its profound stubbornness. He aggressively demanded that his friends physically force the massive animal to move forward. He loudly instructed Jacob to stand directly behind the large horse and forcefully push, while Corey was strictly ordered to pull the lead rope firmly from the front. Corey expressed deep, visible hesitation, stating nervously that he had always heard from reliable sources that it was highly dangerous and incredibly foolish to stand directly behind a fully grown horse. Ricky impatiently and aggressively demanded absolute silence and total physical compliance with his orders. As Jacob awkwardly positioned himself and pushed against the animal with all of his physical might, the highly startled horse suddenly and violently lashed out, delivering a truly powerful, incredibly fast backward kick directly into the fragile chest of Jacob. Jacob immediately collapsed heavily to the hard ground in severe, agonizing pain, desperately clutching his neck and loudly complaining that his ribs felt completely and utterly shattered. Ricky offered a very brief, highly panicked, and insincere apology, but aggressively insisted they absolutely could not delay their highly important plans for a minor medical emergency. He casually dismissed the severe, potentially life-threatening injuries as mere minor bruises, callously stating that medical professionals could not successfully treat broken ribs anyway. He ordered Corey to quickly help Jacob stand up and demanded they leave the area immediately with the animal. Meanwhile, Bubbles happily continued his successful delivery route, cheerfully bringing heavy cases of cold ginger ale to his eager customers. He casually mentioned to the friendly people around him that a highly volatile local resident named Donnie was surprisingly his most frequent, incredibly enthusiastic buyer. Bubbles noted thoughtfully that some people found the unique, spicy flavor of his artisanal ginger ale slightly too intense for their liking, but Donnie seemed to absolutely love the strong taste. Suddenly, Donnie violently stormed out of his house, his face bright red with completely uncontrollable, explosive fury. Donnie screamed aggressively and wildly, loudly complaining that the small delivery cart had slightly damaged the newly laid, highly expensive gravel on his pristine driveway. Bubbles calmly and expertly attempted to immediately de-escalate the highly volatile situation. He politely offered Donnie a completely complimentary case of the premium ginger ale to adequately compensate for the incredibly minor, almost invisible disturbance. Donnie angrily and ungraciously accepted the peace offer but quickly added another aggressive demand to the conversation. He aggressively and loudly insisted that Bubbles immediately tell Ricky to completely replace a very specific meal of expensive breaded chicken that Ricky had allegedly stolen from him the previous week. Bubbles patiently urged Donnie to completely relax his temper and politely asked if Donnie planned to attend the upcoming, highly anticipated celebratory party later that afternoon. Donnie shouted angrily that he had not yet decided his schedule and continuously continued his angry, completely irrational tirade. Bubbles watched him angrily walk away, wondering aloud to the sky how a human being could possibly sustain such an incredibly high level of constant, intense anger without suffering a severe, highly fatal medical emergency. Mr. Leahy and Randy finally located Julian to officially present their generous offer of lasting peace. Julian was visibly hostile the moment they approached, loudly and aggressively blaming the two men for completely ruining his entire life with their previous, highly reckless, and destructive actions. Randy and Mr. Leahy remained completely offer. Leahy smiled a wise, deeply cunning smile. He explained the complex philosophy of his strategy. He pointed out the simple mathematical reality that it would take Julian an incredibly long time to slowly collect $25,000 through fractional wage garnishments. In the meantime, they would retain complete control over the large lump sum of secret cash. Leahy proposed a thrilling, inherently risky plan. He suggested they take the $25,000 and invest it directly at the local horse racing track. He firmly believed that if they simply sat back and trusted their instincts, they could easily double or even triple their secret fortune. He painted a rosy picture of their future afternoons spent at the track enjoying the simple pleasures of the canteen food and watching their wealth grow exponentially. The sun finally began to set, casting a warm golden glow over the trailer park as the residents gathered for Ricky's highly anticipated monumental event. A makeshift stage had been constructed and an energetic announcer was busy hyping up the excited crowd, encouraging everyone to make some joyful noise for the man of the hour. Ricky stepped up to the microphone, a wide, nervous grin spreading across his face. He thanked the crowd for their enthusiastic support, asking everyone how they were doing on this beautiful evening. He cleared his throat and began his prepared speech. He declared that today was an incredibly monumental occasion in his life, which was the primary reason he had invited his entire community to gather together. He asked the crowd if they were truly ready to hear the big announcement. The crowd roared in the affirmative. Ricky gave the secret signal to Corey and Jacob, initiating the grand reveal. The crowd gasped in absolute utter astonishment as the majestic pink-patterned horse was slowly led into the center of the gathering. Bubbles stood near the front of the crowd, his eyes wide with complete disbelief. He called out to Ricky, asking if the entire spectacle was some kind of elaborate practical joke. He could not comprehend how a living farm animal could possibly constitute a major life announcement. He awkwardly complimented the beauty of the creature while simultaneously questioning its gender based on certain highly visible anatomical features. Ricky proudly confirmed that the horse was indeed a male and possessed very impressive physical traits. He then turned his attention back to the eager crowd, his voice trembling slightly with genuine emotion. He announced that he had acquired this beautiful, majestic creature, specifically to present it as a grand romantic gift to the absolute love of his life, Susan. He took a deep breath and declared his intention to formally ask her to be his wife. He thanked the crowd once again for witnessing this profound moment. The reaction from his closest friends was immediate and overwhelmingly negative. Julian buried his face in his hands, recognizing the complete disastrous absurdity of the situation. He muttered to himself that the scenario was incredibly bad. He desperately tried to reason with Ricky, pointing out the obvious truth that a successful, healthy marriage does not require the extravagant presentation of a large farm animal. He argued that if Susan truly loved Ricky and genuinely wanted to marry him, she would happily accept a simple, honest proposal without any bizarre theatrical gimmicks. Bubbles frantically ordered Ricky to step down from the stage, demanding an immediate explanation. He bluntly questioned Ricky's sanity, pointing out the highly toxic nature of Ricky's relationship with Susan. He reminded Ricky that the two of them spent the vast majority of their time engaging in explosive, bitter arguments. He questioned the fundamental logic of getting engaged to someone you barely seem to like, let alone presenting them with a massive horse as a symbol of commitment. He sarcastically congratulated Ricky on what he considered to be a terrible, horribly misguided idea. Ricky felt a sharp pang of defensive anger. He immediately turned on his younger friends, ordering them to take the horse back to wherever they had found it right that very second. As the horse was clumsily led away, Ricky tried to explain his internal reasoning to his skeptical friends. He spoke with a touching but ultimately flawed sincerity. He confessed that he truly believed he loved Susan deeply enough to make a lifelong commitment. He shared his personal, deeply misguided philosophy on relationships, expressing his firm belief that intense, passionate physical intimacy should naturally cancel out the negative effects of constant emotional conflict and bitter arguing. Bubbles looked at his friend with a mixture of profound pity and absolute bewilderment, asking, who in the world had ever taught him such a damaging, incorrect view of human love? Ricky momentarily conceded that perhaps the grand gesture of the horse had been a bit too extravagant, but he passionately defended his underlying intention. He explained that he simply wanted to demonstrate the massive, overwhelming scale of his love for his future wife. He insisted that the true importance of the evening was not the animal but the beautiful promise of their impending engagement. Bubbles, sighing with deep resignation, offered a reluctant congratulation, stating that his only true desire was to see his friend finally achieve some measure of genuine happiness. The fragile moment of hopeful anticipation was violently shattered by the sudden, aggressive arrival of Susan. She stormed into the center of the party, her face twisted in a mask of pure, unadulterated fury. She completely ignored the romantic atmosphere, immediately launching into a vicious, incredibly loud verbal assault against Ricky. She hurled a rapid-fire barrage of severe insults, accusing him of being a terrible, deceptive partner. The crowd watched in stunned, absolute silence as she demanded to know exactly where and from whom he had contracted a highly contagious, intimate medical condition. Ricky, completely blindsided by the accusation, desperately attempted to calm her down, begging her to lower her voice and explain what in the world she was talking about. Susan refused to be silenced, screaming at the top of her lungs that she had just been forcefully evicted from her own home solely because of his reckless, unforgivable behavior. She explicitly accused him of infecting her with a terrible disease and definitively declared that their romantic relationship was completely, irrevocably finished. Ricky, finally understanding the gravity of her accusation, fought back with genuine, confused indignation. He firmly instructed her to listen to his words, declaring with absolute certainty that he had not been physically intimate with absolutely anyone else during their entire relationship. He logically pointed out that he had no desire to seek affection elsewhere because he was entirely satisfied with their connection. A sudden, terrible realization dawned on Susan's face. A woman from the crowd stepped forward, carrying a heavy burden of long-held secrets. She revealed that Susan had actually been living a double life, maintaining a long-term, committed relationship with another partner for the past 16 years. The revelation struck Ricky like a physical blow. He looked at the woman he had been prepared to marry moments ago, feeling a profound sense of betrayal. He reminded her of the deep love they supposedly shared and the beautiful life he had been trying to build for them. Susan instantly dropped her defensive posture, shifting immediately to a cruel, deeply vindictive counterattack. She ruthlessly mocked Ricky, tearing down his self-esteem with brutal precision. She insulted his intelligence, his physical appearance, and his lack of sophisticated style. She looked him directly in the eyes and delivered the final crushing blow, telling him that the fundamental reason their relationship had failed was simply because he was a complete, irredeemable loser. The emotional pain of the public humiliation proved too much for Ricky to bear. He turned away from the crowd, his heart entirely shattered. Julian placed a comforting, supportive hand on his friend's shoulder, gently advising him to simply let her go. He assured Ricky that the painful breakup was ultimately for the absolute best, and that he was significantly better off without such a toxic, destructive force in his life. He asked Ricky if he was going to be all right. Ricky nodded his head, attempting to project a brave, strong facade, but his voice betrayed his deep, lingering sorrow. He politely declined the offer to smoke or drink, simply stating that he needed some quiet time alone to process the immense devastation of the evening. As the chaotic energy of the ruined party slowly began to dissipate, Bubbles sat quietly near his brewing equipment, observing the fractured remnants of his chosen family. He watched Julian constantly hustling for minor loans just to afford a simple drink. He watched Ricky, emotionally destroyed, retreating into a dark, isolated shell. A profound, heavy sadness settled over Bubbles' heart. He realized that a critical breaking point had finally been reached. He gathered his two oldest, dearest friends, demanding their absolute, undivided attention. He took a deep, trembling breath and began to speak, his voice filled with a raw, desperate honesty that commanded complete silence. He started by looking deeply into their eyes, assuring them of his unconditional, enduring love. He promised them that his love was a constant force that would never ever fade. However, he warned them that what he was about to say might sting their pride, but it was a truth that absolutely, desperately needed to be spoken aloud. He asked them a simple, profound question. He asked if they had truly, honestly looked at their own reflections in a mirror recently. He urged them to look closely past the familiar bravado and see the undeniable nice flat-screen television. Like, get in and check that out. It is amazing. He guided them through the labyrinth of poorly cut plywood and scavenged lumber. All right, come back here. Got my downstairs bathroom here. Got a bit of a storage in the trunk there. And this is wicked. I built this for Mo for when he wants to sleep over. He loves it. All right. Check this upstairs out. This is totally cool. He climbed a rickety ladder, the wood groaning under his weight. Look at this patio. Got a couple recliners here, music player, television, nice lamp. Made that myself. Little stool for Jacob because he does not need much. And if you get too messed up here, got a nice urinal. You can use it right here like this, and it runs right down the hose into the downstairs bathroom. What do you think? Like, I am living like a king. Jacob looked around, genuinely impressed by the sheer scale of the chaotic construction. Dude, this deck is awesome. I love it up here. It is so cool. Yeah, Ricky, it really is incredible, Corey added, nodding enthusiastically. Yeah, I know how great it is. Okay? I built the thing, Ricky said, waving off their praise. I know how awesome it is. But back to the big announcement. It has got to be something huge or I am going to come across looking like a mess. He paced back and forth on the wooden planks, his mind racing. Why do you not tell everyone you are dead? That is big, man, Corey suggested earnestly. Look, Corey, there is a problem with that, see? I am not dead, right? See where I am going with this? Ricky sighed, rubbing his temples. What if you were running for president? There is nothing huger than that, Jacob offered, his eyes wide with excitement. That is brilliant, Jacob. Really believable. Then I am going to run for president of Canada, Ricky replied, his voice dripping with heavy sarcasm. Okay, whatever it is, it has to be something huge and you got to come in with something big, Corey insisted. You mean like a dump truck or something? Because that would be cool. Ricky threw his hands up in frustration. Why did I even ask you two to help? You are too messed up. Oh, how about an animal? Yeah, man, I need something exotic. Like a snow tiger, Corey said, his imagination running wild. You know what? An animal might do it, Ricky mused, pausing his pacing. But a snow tiger? Seriously, where am I going to get a snow tiger around here? It needs to be like an animal, something big, but something we could get like locally. Jacob snapped his fingers. Got it. Steak maker. Yeah. What is a steak maker? Ricky asked, utterly confused. It means a cow, Jacob explained patiently. A lot of people are calling that these days. Who? Who calls them that? Ricky demanded. People that are messed in the head. That is who. Ricky suddenly stopped, a bright, manic light appearing in his eyes. Oh my goodness, I got it. You were close too. Something with 4 legs, eats grass, and lives on a farm. Spider, Corey guessed enthusiastically. No, not a spider. A spider has 10 legs. Ricky corrected him with unwavering, albeit incorrect, confidence. A horse. Think about it. A horse. It is beautiful. Dude, where did you even come up with that? Corey asked, amazed by Ricky's sudden stroke of genius. I do not know. It just popped in my head. Ricky smiled, feeling the thrill of a plan coming together. What if it was a gift for Susan? That would make the announcement even bigger. Dude, what if it was an engagement gift for Susan? Dude, that makes the announcement even bigger. But I am not engaged to Susan, am I? Ricky pointed out, trying to apply a thin layer of logic to the situation. Yeah, but if you tell people you are, then they will believe you, Corey reasoned. And imagine if you came in on an engagement horse. Even better, if you put a fake horn on that, then it is an engagement unicorn horn. Dude, that is awesome, Jacob cheered, completely buying into the fantasy. You know what, boys? It is perfect, Ricky declared, striking his palm with his fist. I mean, not the unicorn stuff. That is completely messed up, Corey. But that would be a big announcement. An engagement horse. Holy goodness. This changes everything. Meanwhile, Jim and Randy were sitting on a park bench, the envelope of money resting safely in Jim's jacket pocket. Mr. Lane, whoa, not so fast. Do not forget, when we go back to the park, Julian is going to try to ruin us. Look, this money might be the answer to everything, Jim said, his mind working through the possibilities. We could offer it to Julian. Maybe he would wipe the slate clean. Seriously, sir? Randy asked, his eyes widening. Yeah. Never forget, it is Julian's fault. Our wives are so freaked out. That is true. They did this to us, and they did not have to go to jail. We did. That is a very good point, Jim nodded, patting Randy on the shoulder. Well, what if we offered him half the money? Look, we would still have enough money to live comfortably for a long, long time. What do you think, buddy? You are right, Randy agreed, a smile breaking across his face. And then we would have peace, right? And a nice day. But we can never tell anybody about the money. You promise? Jim asked, looking Randy squarely in the eye. Promise. We would never be safe, Mr. Layton. That is a deal. We should stop at the restaurant. That is it. That is all we care. That is whatever it is you do. Deep in a nearby barn, Ricky, Jacob, and Corey were staring at a massive, brown horse. It stood quietly, chewing on some hay, completely indifferent to the chaotic energy surrounding it. You idiots ready? Okay. Go talk, go talk. Sorry, dude, Ricky mumbled, approaching the animal carefully. Oh yeah. This thing right here, look at the paint job on this thing's fur. It is beautiful. It is awesome. All right, let us get out of here. He tugged gently on the rope, but the horse remained firmly planted. It is not moving, dude, Corey observed helpfully. Well, make it move. How do we make it move? Ricky asked, looking around for instructions that did not exist. You get in behind it and push. Corey, you pull. Come on, let us get this going, boys. We got to get out of here. Hey, are you still sure that is a good idea? I heard you are not supposed to stand behind a horse, Jacob cautioned, looking at the massive hind legs with understandable apprehension. Shut up. No talking, okay? Ricky commanded, taking charge. Okay. Jacob, you push. Corey, you pull. I will help you. Come on. Jacob, push harder. Punch in the back. Show it who is boss. Jacob, driven by a misguided sense of loyalty, pushed against the horse. In a flash of terrifying speed, the horse kicked backward, its heavy hoof connecting squarely with Jacob's chest. He flew backward, landing hard in the dirt with a sickening thud. Goodness, goodness, this hurts, boys, Jacob groaned, clutching his ribs, tears welling in his eyes. Okay, I'm sorry, Jacob, but man, you are gonna have to get out, Ricky said, panicking. We got to get out of here. Are you okay? I do not think I am. Something is wrong with my neck. It is killing me. Goodness, goodness, goodness.
Sorry, man.
Corey, you help him. I will get the horse. But once again, boys, I am wondering why I brought you two on this. Goodness sakes. Dude, man, that was just like a nightmare, man. Except like way worse. Because you know what he was doing. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, guys. I think I need to go to the hospital here. My neck is really killing me. Something is wrong. Ricky, prioritizing the grand romantic gesture over basic medical care, waved off his concerns. Jacob, chill out. Okay? You probably just got a minor ache or something. I am even worried about your ribs, man. That horse kicked you. Those are probably broken for sure, but nothing you can do for broken ribs, so forget going to the hospital. You guys hungry? I am starving. Back at the trailer park, the late afternoon sun was casting long, warm shadows. Bubbles was behind the wheel of a brightly painted golf cart that he had painstakingly modified to look like a miniature delivery truck. It had a small cape fluttering in the wind and a speaker mounted on top, playing cheerful, tinny music. Got Ricky's beer all bottled and ready to go. Got time now to make a few deliveries for some extra cash. Bubbles explained to the documentary crew, his face glowing with entrepreneurial pride. Did you get a good shot of the truck? Make sure you get a good shot of it. Look, got the cape there. Got the speaker. It is just like a little ice cream truck. But for beer, you know, the beer has been going awesome. He pulled up to a trailer where a man named Donnie stood on the porch, looking intensely agitated. Donnie has been my animal with a mixture of fear and respect. You get in behind it and push, Ricky instructed. Corey, you pull. Come on, let us get this going, boys. We have got to get out of here. Hey, are you sure? Jacob hesitated, backing away slightly. I am not sure that is a good idea. I heard you are not supposed to stand behind a horse. Be quiet, Ricky snapped, losing his patience. No talking, okay. Okay, Jacob squeaked. Jacob, you push, Ricky commanded. Corey, you pull. I will help you. Come on. Jacob, push harder. Hit it in the rear. Show it who is boss. Jacob closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and shoved his shoulder against the horse's immense hindquarters. In a flash of terrifying speed, the horse lifted a rear leg and delivered a swift, powerful kick directly into Jacob's chest, sending him flying backward into the dirt. My goodness, Ricky yelled as Jacob groaned in agony. This hurts, boys, Jacob gasped, clutching his ribs. Okay, I am sorry, Jacob, Ricky said, his tone shifting from angry to mildly concerned. But man, you are gonna have to get out. We have got to get out of here. Are you okay? I do not think I am, Jacob wheezed, his face pale. Something is wrong with my neck. It is killing me. Goodness gracious, Ricky muttered, looking around nervously.
Sorry, man.
Corey, you help him. I will get the horse. But once again, boys, I am wondering why I brought you two on this. Goodness sakes. Corey rushed over to help Jacob sit up. Dude, man, that was just like the fruit drink, man, he said, offering a confusing comparison. Except like way worse. Because you know what he was doing. Oh my goodness, guys, Jacob groaned, leaning heavily on Corey. I think I need to go to the hospital here. My neck is really killing me. Something is wrong. Jacob, calm down, okay, Ricky said, trying to manage the crisis. You probably just got a stiff neck or something. I am even worried about your ribs, man. That horse kicked you hard. Those are probably broken for sure, but there is nothing you can do for broken ribs, so forget going to the hospital. You guys hungry? I am starving. Later that afternoon, Bubbles was navigating his modified go-kart through the sunny avenues of the trailer park. The small vehicle was painted in bright, welcoming colors, resembling a miniature ice cream truck, complete with a small loudspeaker mounted on the roof. Got Ricky's beer all bottled and ready to go, he said to himself, feeling a deep sense of accomplishment. Got time now to make a few deliveries for some extra cash. He patted the dashboard affectionately. Did you get a good shot of the truck? He asked an invisible audience. Make sure you get a good shot of it. Look, got the cape there. Got the speaker. It is just like a little ice cream truck, but for beer. You know, the beer has been going awesome. Donnie has been my #1 customer. Some people think this beer is a little bit strong, but forget Donnie. As he approached Donnie's trailer, the door suddenly burst open, and Donnie stormed out, his face purple with absolute fury. It is not strong, for goodness sakes, Donnie screamed, wildly gesturing toward the street. Are you kidding me? I just had that thing re-graveled. Bubbles quickly hit the brakes, recognizing the explosive anger of his best customer. Donnie, calm down, Bubbles pleaded, holding up a hand in a gesture of peace. I will give you a free case to make up for it. Oh, you are right, you will, Donnie bellowed, his voice echoing through the park. And you tell Ricky I want those chicken fingers replaced he took last Friday. Donnie, do not relax, Bubbles tried to say before Donnie cut him off again. Are you coming to the party? Bubbles asked, desperately trying to change the subject. I do not know yet, Donnie screamed before slamming his door shut so hard the entire trailer shook. Okay, buddy, Bubbles whispered to the closed door. Can you imagine going around being that angry all the time? He mused, steering his cart away. He is gonna pop a blood vessel in his head. Goodness sakes. Not far away, Mr. Leahy and Randy were finally walking up to their own trailer, the exhaustion of the day and the weight of their secret settling upon their shoulders. Hey guys, they called out, hoping for a quiet return. Can you give us a break? We just got home. We are trying to get our lives together here. Break off, guys. All right. But their hopes for a peaceful homecoming were immediately dashed. Julian was sitting on their front steps, a glass of rum and cola resting on his knee, his expression completely unreadable. It is about time, Julian said, his voice low and dangerous. I have been waiting a long time for this. Take it easy, Julian, Mr. Leahy said, his heart rate instantly spiking. You take it easy, Julian snapped, standing up and towering over them. Calm down, Mr. Leahy pleaded. We just want to talk. No, I want to talk to you too, Julian stated, pointing a massive finger at them. Listen, Julian, Mr. Leahy started. Randy, I will handle it. Julian, a lot of crazy things went down there. Because of you two drunken lunatics, Julian roared, his composure finally breaking. You ruined my life. Well, Randy and I are willing to take full responsibility, Mr. Leahy offered, his voice surprisingly steady. You are taking full responsibility, all right, Julian sneered. Yeah, because we feel terrible, Mr. Leahy continued. But we think we have a plan to make it all up to you. Julian, shut up. I am calling the shots here, Julian interrupted fiercely. You took us for $400,000. So this is what is going to happen. I am taking half your wages for the rest of your life until you pay me back. The rest of our lives, Randy gasped, his eyes wide with horror. You are lucky I do not end you right now, Randy, Julian growled. Are we clear? Yeah, Randy squeaked. Good, Julian nodded sharply. Wait a minute, Julian, Mr. Leahy interjected, his mind racing. Calm down. It is just crazy talk. It is not fair, Randy protested weakly. Just hear us out, Mr. Leahy pleaded. We got a very generous offer for you, Julian. Wait a minute, Julian said, a flicker of curiosity in his eyes. Julian is giving us his terms, Mr. Leahy said, quickly cutting off Randy before he could reveal the cash. Thank you, Julian. Sorry, buddy. As the sun began to set, casting long, golden shadows across Sunnyvale, Ricky's yard was transformed into a bustling center of celebration. Music pumped from large speakers, and the residents of the park gathered around, holding bottles of Green Bastard India Pale Ale, their faces illuminated by the warm glow of string lights strung across the elaborate wooden deck. Yo, what is up, what is up, what is up, everybody, a local DJ shouted into a microphone. Hope you all having a good time. Make some noise out there. Make some noise, yeah, you all rocking with us. Hope you all having a good time. Make some noise for my man Ricky. Yeah. The crowd erupted into cheers and applause as Ricky stepped up onto a makeshift stage, a beaming smile on his face, his injured arm carefully hidden beneath a long-sleeved flannel shirt. Thanks, boys, Ricky yelled over the noise. How is everyone doing today? Yeah. Right on. Well, today is a monumental occasion for me, and that is why I wanted everybody here. How is everybody doing? Great. You ready for the big announcement?
Yeah.
All right. Corey Jacob, you are on. It is time. The crowd parted as Corey and Jacob slowly emerged from the side of the trailer, struggling to lead the massive brown horse into the center of the gathering. Gasps of astonishment rippled through the audience. Check out this thing, Ricky announced, proudly pointing at the animal. Oh my goodness, Julian muttered, standing at the edge of the crowd with Bubbles. Are you joking, Ricky? That is the big announcement. You got a horse. What? Bubbles asked, shaking his head in disbelief. Well, it is not for me, Bubbles, Ricky explained, his voice full of genuine affection. Is she not beautiful? What a beautiful horse. Or is it a? Does it have a male voice? Yeah, dude, it has got a huge one, Corey confirmed loudly. Actually, I guess it is a he so. Anyway, today I want to give this beautiful horse to the love of my life, Susan, Ricky declared, his voice booming over the speakers. And I am going to ask her to marry me. So thanks again, everybody, for coming. What? Julian asked, his jaw dropping. What is he doing? Oh my goodness, Julian, this is bad, Bubbles groaned, rubbing his temples. This is bad. Look, what is the matter with you? Julian yelled, stepping forward. You do not need a horse, you dummy. If she loves you and she wants to marry you, God help her, you do not need a horse or anything else. Ricky, get down here right now. Get down here. Ricky jogged down from the stage, looking slightly offended by their lack of enthusiasm. What is up, Bubbles? He asked defensively. Well, what are you doing? Bubbles demanded. You are getting engaged. Are you out of your mind? You guys do not even like each other. You cannot get married. Like, all you do is fight and sleep together. And like, why would you even need this thing if you are getting engaged? Great idea, boys. A big animal. Great one. Julian turned his glare onto Corey and Jacob. Take this thing back, he ordered. Take this thing back to the horse store. Right now. Get going. Okay, Corey. He boasted that he was selling massive quantities to the residents of the park and business was absolutely booming. Despite his success, Bubbles admitted he was feeling an immense amount of pressure. Ricky had ordered 22 large cases of beer for a major announcement party later that day. Bubbles was rushing to get the entire batch bottled in time. Julian leaned against the counter and casually asked how the beer business was treating his friend. Bubbles beamed with pride, stating it was wonderful and certainly much better than hauling shopping carts. Julian slyly suggested that Bubbles should create a special beer featuring Julian's name and face. Bubbles hesitated but politely offered to make a protein beer instead. Julian then shifted the conversation to a more serious tone, probing into Bubbles' sales figures and profit margins. Bubbles immediately sensed Julian's ulterior motives. He knew that whenever he started making money, Julian suddenly developed a keen interest in becoming a business partner. Julian defended himself, claiming he merely wanted to ensure Bubbles was not being exploited. He threw around complex business terms he had learned from television shows, asking about company valuations and weekly profit margins. Bubbles firmly told Julian to stop trying to manipulate him. Julian finally cracked and confessed his desperate situation. He admitted he was completely broke and struggling to live a legitimate lifestyle. He recounted a humiliating date from the previous night where his companion had to purchase their movie theater popcorn. Bubbles shook his head and reminded Julian that going to the movie theater was always an overpriced endeavor. Julian clarified that they were watching a movie at his trailer and he could not even afford microwave popcorn. Bubbles felt a pang of sympathy for his old friend. He handed Julian a small bundle of cash. Julian initially resisted, calling the gesture pathetic and refusing charity. Bubbles pointed out the harsh reality of Julian's financial state and insisted he take the money. Their conversation was suddenly interrupted by the arrival of Ricky, who was clutching his bleeding arm. Bubbles was alarmed and asked Ricky what had happened. Ricky brushed off the injury and began talking affectionately about his new girlfriend, Susan. He explained that they had been dating for several months and it had been a wonderful experience. He confessed how much he had missed having a partner to share his life with. He admitted Susan could be difficult at times, but their physical connection was so intense that he realized he needed to improve his overall physical fitness. Bubbles listened carefully. Part of him was genuinely happy that Ricky had found companionship. However, he harbored deep concerns about Susan. She intimidated Bubbles massively. He disliked the way she seemed to control Ricky's thoughts and actions without Ricky even noticing. Bubbles gently tried to steer the conversation back to Ricky's bleeding arm. Ricky spun a wild tale about rollerblade skiing with Corey and Jacob. He claimed they were moving at high speeds when they hit a patch of gravel and suffered a terrible fall. He added that Jacob had taken the worst of the impact. Julian stared at Ricky in pure disbelief. He questioned how and where they would even acquire rollerblades, assuming Ricky had stolen them. Ricky adamantly denied the accusation, stating they had purchased them from a new local store. At that exact moment, Jacob's father approached, demanding to know why there were metal fragments embedded in his son's chest. Ricky desperately tried to maintain his lie, insisting the fragments were merely pieces of gravel from the rollerblade skiing accident. Julian saw right through the deception and demanded the truth, stating clearly that the fragments were from a shotgun shell. Trapped in his own web of lies, Ricky finally confessed. He apologized to his friends and family for keeping a massive secret throughout the entire summer. He admitted he had not been studying for his small engine repair certification, nor was he taking a crane operator course. Instead, he had been secretly cultivating a massive garden of 75 magnificent plants hidden deep in the woods. He proudly described the sophisticated irrigation system and the towering 8-foot plants he had grown with the help of a professional medical cultivator. Julian was furious that Ricky had broken his promise to stay out of trouble. Ricky pleaded for understanding, explaining that he had secured a massive cash deal that would have allowed him to retire permanently. He confessed that the previous night had turned into a complete disaster. Unknown assailants had ambushed them, stolen the entire crop, and fired a weapon in their direction. Jacob's father was appalled that Ricky would take his son-in-law on such a dangerous mission. Ricky weakly defended himself by claiming Jacob had volunteered. Ricky swore he would find the thieves and exact his revenge, but Julian firmly ordered him to abandon the idea and accept that the harvest was gone forever. Julian sighed deeply, expressing his frustration that Ricky's supposedly big announcement was just another failed illegal scheme. Ricky quickly corrected him, insisting the big announcement was something entirely different and far more significant than a minor botanical transaction. Julian remained skeptical, but Ricky promised it was going to be a monumental event. Far away from the chaos of the trailer park, 2 other men were experiencing a life-changing moment. Former park supervisor Jim and his loyal partner Randy were finally being released from jail. Jim reflected on his profound hatred for prison life but found solace in the fact that he and Randy were starting over together. He spoke tenderly about his love for Randy, noting that their time behind bars had brought them closer than ever before. Their peaceful departure was interrupted by the arrival of a corrupt police officer named Ted. Ted approached the 2 men with a serious demeanor. He handed them $50,000 in cash. He explained that this was hush money. The $400,000 they had been arrested with was supposed to be surrendered to the government, but Ted had secretly diverted the funds to purchase new computers, forensics equipment, and a patrol vehicle for his department. Ted warned Jim and Randy that if they ever spoke a word about the missing money, he would completely destroy their lives by fabricating new criminal charges against them. Jim and Randy eagerly accepted the money, promising total silence and feeling incredibly relieved to have an unexpected fortune. Back at the park, Ricky was proudly showing off his newly constructed multi-level wooden deck. He gave Corey and Jacob a grand tour, highlighting the outdoor kitchen, comfortable seating area, and flat-screen television. He even proudly displayed a makeshift bathroom system he had engineered himself. Corey and Jacob were thoroughly impressed, praising the craftsmanship. However, Ricky's mind was still entirely focused on his upcoming grand announcement. He knew he needed a spectacular gesture to avoid looking foolish. Corey jokingly suggested Ricky should announce his own fake death, but Ricky quickly dismissed the illogical idea. Jacob proposed that Ricky announce a campaign for political office, which Ricky found equally ridiculous. Corey then suggested making an entrance in a large vehicle like a dump truck. Ricky grew increasingly frustrated with their lack of imagination. Finally, Corey suggested involving an exotic animal like a snow tiger. Ricky considered the idea but noted the impossibility of finding a snow tiger in their region. He needed a large, impressive animal that was locally available. After a series of confused guesses, Corey finally shouted the perfect answer, which was a horse. Ricky was astounded by the brilliance of the idea. Jacob added that presenting the horse as an engagement gift to Susan would make the announcement legendary. Ricky felt a surge of joy. He declared the engagement horse was the absolute perfect plan. Meanwhile, Jim and Randy were discussing their newfound wealth. Randy was anxious about returning to the park, knowing Julian harbored a deep grudge against them. Jim, however, saw an opportunity. He suggested they offer half of their $50,000 to Julian to wipe their slate clean and purchase peace. They agreed to keep the true source of the money a secret, ensuring their safety while securing a comfortable future. Ricky, Corey, and Jacob arrived at a local farm to acquire the grand engagement gift. They stood before a magnificent horse painted with ridiculous bright pink patterns. Ricky admired the creature, believing it to be a beautiful and appropriate symbol of his love. However, the massive animal refused to move. Ricky ordered Corey to pull the lead rope while Jacob pushed from behind. Corey nervously mentioned that standing behind a horse was dangerous, but Ricky demanded silence and compliance. Suddenly, the frightened animal kicked backward, striking Jacob squarely in the chest. Jacob collapsed in agonizing pain, fearing his ribs were broken and his neck was injured. Ricky showed little sympathy, hastily instructing Corey to help Jacob while he took control of the horse. Ricky grumbled about his decision to bring his two clumsy assistants along. As the afternoon sun began to dip lower, Bubbles was exhausted but satisfied. He had finished bottling Ricky's massive order and was driving his small customized delivery vehicle through the park. His business was thriving. He encountered a notoriously angry park resident named Donnie, who was furious about minor property damage. Bubbles calmly offered a free case of beer to soothe the man to help. "You are too messed up." "Oh, how about an animal?" Jacob suggested, a spark of inspiration lighting up his eyes. "Yeah, man, I need something exotic," Corey agreed. "Like a snow tiger." "You know what?" Ricky said, pausing to actually consider the idea. "An animal might do it. But a snow tiger? Seriously, where am I going to get a snow tiger around here? It needs to be like an animal, something big, but something we could get locally." "Got it. Steak maker." "Yeah," Corey nodded, completely lost. "What is a steak maker?" "It means a cow," Ricky explained, as if it were the most obvious thing in the world. "A lot of people are calling them that these days." "Who?" Jacob asked. "Who calls them that?" "People that are messed up in the head," Ricky replied dismissively. "That is who." "Oh my goodness, I got it. You were close too. Something with 4 legs, eats grass, and lives on a farm." "Spider," Corey guessed excitedly. "No, not a spider," Ricky sighed, his patience wearing dangerously thin. "A spider has 10 legs. A horse. Think about it. A horse. It is beautiful." "Dude, where did you even come up with that?" Corey marveled. "I do not know," Ricky smiled, feeling a surge of romantic genius. "It just popped in my head." "What if it was a gift for Susan?" Jacob added gently. "That would make the announcement even bigger." "Dude, what if it was an engagement gift for Susan?" Corey gasped, his eyes wide with amazement. "Dude, that makes the announcement even bigger. "But I am not engaged to Susan, am I?" Ricky pointed out. "Yeah, but if you tell people you are, then they will believe you," Corey reasoned. "And imagine if you came in on an engagement horse. Even better if you put a fake horn on that, then it is an engagement unicorn horn." "Dude, that is awesome," Jacob agreed. "You know what, boys?" Ricky said, a massive grin spreading across his face as he pictured Susan's reaction. "It is perfect. I mean, not the unicorn nonsense. That is completely messed up, Corey. But that would be a big announcement. An engagement horse. Holy cow." Later that afternoon, Leahy and Randy were sitting on the steps of their trailer, the large envelope of money resting safely between them. The afternoon sun was warm, and the birds were singing, creating a peaceful contrast to the storm that was brewing inside their minds. "This changes everything, Mr. Leahy," Randy said softly, his eyes filled with hope. Whoa, not so fast," Leahy cautioned, holding up a hand. "Randy, my boy, do not forget, when we go back to the park, Julian is going to try to ruin us. Look, this money might be the answer to everything, Randy suggested eagerly. We could offer it to Julian. Maybe he would wipe the slate clean. Seriously, sir? Leahy asked, looking at Randy with a mix of surprise and consideration. Yeah, Randy nodded. Never forget it is Julian's fault. Our wives are so freaked out. That is true, Leahy murmured, staring off into the distance. They did this to us and they did not have to go to jail. We did. That is a very good point, Randy agreed. Well, what if we offered him half the money? Leahy proposed, doing the mental math. Look, we would still have enough money to live comfortably for a long, long time. What do you think, buddy? You are right, Randy smiled warmly. And then we would have peace. Right. And a nice day, Leahy concluded, placing a comforting hand on Randy's knee. But we can never tell anybody about the money. You promise? I promise, Randy vowed solemnly. We would never be safe, Mr. Leahy whispered, pulling Randy into a tight, reassuring hug. That is a deal. While Leahy and Randy negotiated their newfound fortune, Ricky, Corey, and Jacob were engaged in a fierce battle of wills with a massive, incredibly stubborn brown horse. They had managed to acquire the majestic creature from a local farm, but convincing it to walk down the dirt road toward the trailer park was proving to be a monumental challenge. You idiots ready? Ricky grunted, tugging on the lead rope with all his might. Okay, go walk, go walk. The horse snorted loudly, planting its massive hooves firmly into the dirt, refusing to yield an inch. Sorry, dude, Ricky muttered to the horse, before turning his attention to a bright pink ribbon tied to the horse's mane. Oh yeah, this thing right here, look at the pink job on this thing's fur. It is beautiful. It is awesome. All right, let us get out of here. It is not moving, dude, Corey pointed out the painfully obvious fact. Well, make it move, Ricky ordered, his frustration rising. How do we make it move? Jacob asked nervously, eyeing the horse's powerful hind legs. You get in behind it and push, Ricky instructed. Corey, you pull. Come on, let us get this going, boys. We have got to get out of here. Are you sure that is a good idea? Jacob hesitated, taking a step back. I heard you are not supposed to stand behind a horse. Shut up, Ricky snapped, waving his good arm. No talking, okay? Okay, Jacob surrendered, moving cautiously toward the rear of the animal. Jacob, you push, Ricky commanded. Corey, you pull. I will help you. Come on. Jacob, push harder. Punch in the behind. Show it who is boss. Jacob took a deep breath, placed his hands on the horse's muscular flanks, and pushed with all his remaining strength. The horse, clearly unamused by the sudden intrusion, pinned its ears back, let out a sharp whinny, and kicked its back legs with terrifying speed and precision. The heavy hooves connected directly with Jacob's chest. He flew backward through the air, landing in the dirt with a sickening thud. Oh my goodness, Ricky yelled, dropping the rope and rushing over to Jacob, who was gasping for air on the ground. This hurts, boys. Okay. I'm sorry, Jacob, but man, you are going to have to get out of the way. We have got to get out of here. Are you okay? I do not think I am, Jacob wheezed, his face pale and contorted in pain. Something is wrong with my neck. It is killing me. Goodness gracious, Ricky panicked, looking frantically between the injured Jacob and the stubborn horse.
Sorry, man.
Corey, you help him. I will get the horse. But once again, boys, I am wondering, why did I bring you two on this? Dude, man, that was just like the Kool-Aid. Man, Corey babbled, his eyes wide with shock as he knelt beside Jacob. Except like way worse, because you know what he was doing. Oh my God. Oh my God. Guys, Jacob moaned, clutching his chest. I think I need to go to the hospital here. My neck is really killing me. Something is wrong. Jacob, chill out. Okay? Ricky pleaded, trying to maintain control of the escalating disaster. You probably just got a stiff neck or something. I am even worried about your ribs, man. That horse kicked you hard. Those are probably broken for sure. but nothing you can do for broken ribs, so do not go to the hospital. You guys hungry? I am starving. Across the park, Bubbles was happily steering his newly modified go-kart, which now functioned as a mobile beer delivery vehicle. It was painted bright green, with a large, makeshift cape attached to the back that fluttered majestically in the wind. A small speaker played an upbeat, catchy tune as he rolled through the neighborhood. Got Ricky's beer all bottled and ready to go? Bubbles said happily to himself. Got time now to make a few deliveries for some extra cash. He patted the side of the cart, immensely proud of his ingenuity. Did you get a good look at the truck? Make sure you get a good look at it. Look, got the cape there. Got the speaker. It is just like a little ice cream truck. But for beer. He pulled up to a dilapidated trailer, the upbeat music chiming cheerfully. You know, the beer has been going awesome. Donnie has been my #1 customer. Some people think this beer is a little bit strong, but not Donnie. Suddenly, the door to the trailer flew open, and Donnie stormed out, his face a terrifying shade of crimson. He looked absolutely furious, waving his arms wildly in the air. See, it is not strong. Donnie screamed, his voice echoing off the aluminum siding of the surrounding trailers. Are you kidding me? I just had that thing re-graveled. Donnie, calm down, Bubbles said gently, holding up his hands in a placating gesture. I will give you a free case to make up for it. Oh, you are entirely right, you will. Donnie roared, stomping toward the cart. And you tell Ricky I want those chicken fingers replaced. He took last Friday. Donnie, relax, Bubbles pleaded. The truth of the words hung heavily in the cool night air. The eternal youth they had pretended to possess was a lie, and the proof was written in the lines on their faces and the exhaustion in their bones. We are getting old, and we are getting out of shape, and we are getting shitty looking, Bubbles continued, his voice thick with emotion. We are getting shitty looking, and you are not getting any younger. But what are you doing? You are breaking the law like you are fucking 17 years old. He looked at the trailers surrounding them, the empire of dirt and broken dreams they had ruled over for decades. Nothing is changing, and who is benefiting from it? Nobody. I almost benefited today, Ricky argued weakly, clinging to the ghost of his stolen marijuana plants. I was almost fucking retired. You shut up too, Ricky, because you are not retired? Bubbles fired back, refusing to let Ricky hide behind his delusions. That is the fucking point I am trying to make. You are not retired, and you should not have been fucking lying to us about growing dope. That is bullshit. Ricky's head dropped lower. He had no defense left. Yeah, that was bullshit. I know. I am sorry, it was dumb. I should have told you guys. You should have fucking told us? Bubbles agreed, his anger fading back into profound sadness. He looked at both of them, his brothers in arms, the only family he truly had. This is a fucking wake-up call right now, boys. Teling ya. He gestured to the crates of beer he had brewed with his own hands, the legitimate business he was trying to build from nothing. Because I am already gone legit. I have got legit things going on. And you guys, I know how you fucking operate. You got no money now. You are broke. And I know what that turns into. He stepped closer to them, his eyes wide, pleading with them to understand the terrifying vision he saw for their future. Next thing you know, you are going to be in jail forever. You are going to wind up in there for the rest of your lives. He looked directly at Ricky, delivering the hardest truth of all. Fucking in there all alone, dying, looking shitty. And when you are in there taking your last fucking breaths, Ricky, sucking in your last breath on earth, there is going to be no family there and no Bubbles. Ricky looked up. The reality of the picture Bubbles was painting finally piercing his thick armor of denial. A deep, terrifying sadness filled his eyes. Hold your hand. Come on, Bubbles, Ricky whispered, his voice cracking, terrified of the abandonment Bubbles was describing. Do not fucking come on me, Bubbles said firmly, refusing to soften the blow. It is true. He stood tall, the moral compass of the trailer park, delivering his final verdict. Like, if you guys fucking love me as much as you say you do, then breaking the law is over for good. That is it. That is all I got to say. He turned away from them, picking up his empty beer tray. He had said his piece. The rest was up to them. I want you guys to fucking think about that tonight, Bubbles said quietly over his shoulder. He paused, looking back at Ricky, who was still holding the half-empty bottle of whiskey, staring blankly into the night. Bubbles offered a small, sad smile. Here, Ricky, you can finish that off, Bubbles said, a note of immense grace and forgiveness in his voice. Consider it thinking liquor. You got any ice or mixers? Ricky looked at the bottle, then at Bubbles, a glimmer of profound gratitude shining through his despair. Thanks, buddy. I hope you get back, Julian. Thanks. Bubbles nodded slowly, turning and walking away into the darkness of the trailer park. Julian and Ricky stood alone under the fading street lamp, the silence of the night wrapping around them. The wild, chaotic day had finally come to an end, leaving them standing on the precipice of the rest of their lives. The echoes of the gunfire, the angry shouts, and the absurd laughter had faded, replaced by the terrifying, beautiful necessity of change. They were fools, they were failures, and they were broken, but as they stood together in the quiet night, holding a bottle of thinking liquor, they were, at the very least, finally awake. The evening air was crisp and full of unspoken promises. For Richard, a man who had spent the better part of his life chasing fleeting dreams and stumbling over his own grand ambitions, tonight was supposed to be the turning point. He stood at the edge of the sprawling forest, looking up at the vast expanse of stars that blanketed the sky. His heart beat with a rhythm of profound hope. This was a monumental night for him. He had finally built something entirely on his own, something beautiful and agricultural, and it was about to yield a wonderful reward. For years, Richard had felt overshadowed by the mistakes of his past. He had constantly relied on his closest friends, Julian and Bubbles, leaning on them when his chaotic plans unraveled. But this time was different. He had dedicated himself to learning the delicate art of botany. He had cultivated a rare, highly sought-after strain of organic medicinal herbs. I finally educated myself, Richard whispered into the cool night breeze, adjusting the collar of his jacket. He remembered the old saying, if you want a task done perfectly, you must do it yourself. Of course, his friends had offered their support, but this specific endeavor was his masterpiece. He had negotiated a brilliant, entirely legitimate arrangement with a renowned herbal apothecary in the city of Halifax. They had promised him a substantial sum of paper money upon delivery. I am completely finished with the old ways, he thought, a broad, genuine smile spreading across his face. I finally achieved true success. He knew that Julian and Bubbles might feel a twinge of disappointment that he had kept this botanical project a secret from them. He had initially planned to include them, but he wanted to prove he could be responsible. To make amends for his secrecy, Richard had a wonderful idea. He would host a massive, joyful community celebration. A magnificent party always had the power to mend minor misunderstandings. Richard turned to his two eager assistants, Corey and Jacob, who were standing a few paces behind him, holding large woven baskets. Listen closely, my friends, Richard instructed, his voice low and serious. Just past this line of pine trees is the garden. When we arrive, we must work with absolute quiet and focus. We need to harvest the leaves as efficiently as possible and return home before the morning sun brightens the horizon. Do you understand? Absolutely, we are ready, Corey whispered back, nodding enthusiastically. Do not worry for a single second, Richard, Jacob added, a nervous but excited grin on his face. We are incredibly grateful that you allowed us to help with this important harvest. The three men moved stealthily through the underbrush. The moonlight guided their path until they reached the hidden clearing. But as they stepped into the open, a sudden, thunderous noise echoed through the trees. It sounded like a massive piece of farming equipment backfiring in the distance, but in the dark, tense atmosphere it was terrifying. What in the world is that noise? Corey gasped, dropping his basket in sheer panic. It is just a loud noise. Everyone stay calm, Richard urged, though his own heart was racing. But panic is highly contagious. Corey and Jacob turned and fled into the dense, thorny bushes, completely disoriented by the dark. Richard tried to chase after them to keep them safe, but he tripped over a thick tree root, tumbling headfirst into a patch of sharp brambles. "Please come back here," Richard called out, but the forest was empty. He sat in the dirt, brushing the leaves from his jacket, looking at his beautiful, ruined garden that had been trampled in their chaotic retreat. He sighed deeply, looking up at the sky. "I suppose I should not be surprised. Why does the universe insist on presenting me with such difficult hurdles?" Miles away from the forest, as the sun finally began to rise, painting the sky in shades of gold and pink, Bubbles was already hard at work. He stood proudly behind his newly constructed beverage stand. Bubbles was a man of simple pleasures and deep intellect, wearing his signature thick glasses that made his eyes look perpetually wide with wonder. He had recently sold his secret, family recipe for a spectacular tomato sauce to a charismatic culinary investor. Instead of squandering the profits, Bubbles had wisely reinvested every single penny into a brand new, thoroughly legitimate venture, crafting artisanal, non-alcoholic sodas. "Check out this magnificent setup," Bubbles said to himself, polishing a glass bottle until it gleamed in the morning light. The business had started slowly, but he was now earning a very respectable